Hello, everyone. How are you guys today? Welcome. Give you guys a few minutes to get up in here as always. All right. What's up, Aaron? Happy Saturday. It's okay outside where I live. It's not really, the sun's peeking through, but it's cool. What's up, Quentin? K Business Afternoon. K Business Podcast. Welcome. That's true, Aaron. That's true. That is true. But you know me, I just kind of put a time up so you guys get an idea. Because when I'm ready to get on the mic, I just get on the mic, man. It's very difficult for me to wait till a particular time. So what's up, BJ? Steven? Yeah, MLM's got me too, but it got me when I was in debt. All right, I was a slave, and this is why I'm bringing this MLM stuff up, because I was a slave when it got me, and now that I'm out of debt, I clearly see the purpose of MLMs. Right? We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. All right. I'm gonna give you guys the outside the debt matrix perspective, because when you're in debt, you can't see the purpose of MLMs. You can't really see it. Right? So, sub Kindle. Call out slaves. Hey, man, slaves are slaves by choice. I always tell people that slaves are slaves by choice. Slaves choose to not trust mathematics. You have to choose not to believe math. So the real high value channel, I know, right? That'd be killing me, man, when I be going to these other channels. These are high valued people. No, they're just high valued slaves. They're not anything else. Like when I go to channels like that, man, I only can stay on those channels for like 5 minutes, because it just, it's so funny. I just be like, all these people came to get the opinion of this person? Really? Why? Just because you see their dress or their room or whatever? It makes absolutely no sense. None. Zero. But I get it. You got to remember, most slaves want to escape their lives, especially right now. This is why you guys got to understand something. All right. No, we'll get into that. You see me, I'm already gone. What's up, Alex? All right. Hello, everyone. My name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. The debt matrix is a place where slaves live. Slaves live in the debt matrix, all right? You're probably thinking, well, what is a slave and who you're calling a slave, all right? This is where people live that live paycheck to paycheck, but can't figure out why. They keep financing things that go down in value. They think financing cars for 7 years, financing houses for 30 years, financing cell phones, and they still can't. It can't be the car payments that's keeping you paycheck to paycheck. What about the phones for the whole family that you're making phone payments on? It couldn't be that either. Nope. Okay, whatever, right? But there's two kinds of slaves. There's unconscious slaves and there's conscious slaves. Now, follow me closely. This is what an unconscious slave is. An unconscious slave don't trust math, and they don't know they don't trust math. Now, you're probably confused again. All right, let me figure out, what do you mean by that? Okay, if you believe you're a homeowner with 30-year mortgages, you don't trust math, because that's not true. If you believe it takes 30 years to pay off one house, you obviously don't trust math. Okay. If you finance a car for 84 months and believe you got it on sale, like the sticker price you drive on a lot, and you finance a car for 84 months and then you drive off believing that you got it for the price of that sticker that you saw on the window, you obviously don't trust math. You are unconscious. Okay. Now, conscious slaves used to be unconscious. They came to this S&D channel, unlike any other channel on YouTube. They came to this channel and said, oh, damn, I believe math. Now I got to become free. And this is what they did. Okay. This is all they did. Okay. This is how you go from unconscious to conscious. You take the name of this channel, Savings Minus Debt. So you add up all your savings and then add up all your debt, student loans, mortgages, tickets, back child support, credit card bills, phone bills, phone, whatever, right? All that stuff that you owe, right? And then you go savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. Okay. Now this is going to be the hard part because math is the exit of that's the exit door to the debt matrix. All you got to do when you hit equal on your calculator, make sure you put these numbers in your calculator yourself. Okay. And then when you hit equal, now all you got to do is believe the answer that your calculator tells you. All you got to do is look at it and say, do I believe it? If you say no, you're going to die in the debt matrix. You are what's called an unconscious slave. But if you believe it, which conscious slaves did, conscious slaves saw that and say, oh, crap, I'm a slave. And then now they're doing whatever it takes to get out of debt. That's a conscious slave to get to zero. Okay. Zero is financial freedom. Zero means you owe nobody nothing, right? You are the stock. If you look at the stock markets, this is outside the debt matrix. You guys don't see the stock market for what it is. You guys think it's something that you're going to make money from and is where retirement lives and it goes up and down randomly. That's for slaves because you guys don't understand you are the stock. Those things, this is all you got to do to understand who owns you. This is why you're the stock. All you got to do is log into your Credit Karma. There you'll find a list of your owners. Some of those owners are in the stock market. They couldn't exist without owning a piece of you. So you look in your Credit Karma and say, oh, those are all my owners. Yeah. And that credit score you guys so highly praise, that credit score, that's the score they give slaves for staying in debt, for keeping them making money. If you keep helping them make money, they're going to reward you with this credit score that means something, but you guys don't understand that. It only means something to you slaves, not us, that just you. That's a reward score for staying in debt. Thank you, slave. So if you got a high credit score, which slaves love to brag about, you're just a high valued slave. If you have a low credit score, you're just a low valued slave. The people with the high credit scores, they have to pay for those credit scores. You think a high credit score is free? No, you got to pay interest for that. You got to pay for that. That's not free. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I that was me for the first 40 years of my life. I got out, found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said, hey, take the math that you learned in grade school and apply it to your finances and you'll win with money. And that's what I did. Now I'm free. It wasn't until I got on the north side of zero did I realize I was a slave. I didn't realize because I had been living in debt all my life. If you're in debt, you're a slave. You don't even own yourself. I didn't know I didn't own myself until I became free. Once I got on the other side of zero, I was like, oh shit, I was a slave that whole time. You sure was, Linnell. You was a highly educated, college earning, six-figure earning slave. Driving a Lexus and living in a nice place. That's all I was. That's all I was. I was nothing more than that. So the most of the shit you guys see on YouTube, hey man, it's not true. That's not true. All you gotta do is pull out your calculator and listen to the things they say. It won't make any mathematical sense. So once I did that, I took what I learned from Dave Ramsey and I said, you know what? I'm gonna simplify it even more. Let me pull out religion because math has nothing to do with religion. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, you're Christian, 1 + 1 = 2. Nobody's ever going to say, hey man, he only knows the answer because he's Christian. See how that sounds? So I stripped it out. You just take it out. And then even the part that says, once you get out of debt, you start putting away 15% of retirement. That's not true. That breaks all the laws of mathematics. If you have a mortgage, say like you have a mortgage, right? And then they start saying, I think Dave said, I'm not going to quote for, but I hear people say it, right? Put away, if you're paid off all your debt and only thing is left is your mortgage, start putting 15% away for retirement. According to the laws of mathematics, that's impossible. If you have a mortgage, the laws of mathematics say you can't put away anything in retirement because you have no money. So say like you have your last thing is your mortgage and you owe $200,000. According to the laws of mathematics, you're $200,000 in the negative. That means you don't have no money to invest in anything. You're in the negative. Okay. What's up, Andre, Alex, Wayman? So that's what I did. So I stripped it out, made it very simple. Savings minus debt. You can't argue with it. You can't put your feelings into it. You can't add race into it. You can't say I only know 1 + 1 = 2 because I'm black, because you're white, because you're Chinese. It's just 2. Period. That's it. That's the laws of mathematics. And if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. It can't. Okay. All right. So let's get to the topic. All right. Multi-level marketing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an outside the debt matrix view of multi-level marketing. All right. And when I was in debt, I got caught up in a few of them, or not a few, maybe 2, maybe 3. I'm not sure. A few of them. Okay. I'm gonna just say 3 at the most. Right. Because even when I was involved, first I'm gonna step back when I was in debt, and I'm gonna give you my mindset because I'm sure it's similar to yours. Right. They all say the same thing. Be your own boss. You are your own owner or some shit. It's just so stupid, right? But it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, when I was in debt, deep in debt, I didn't realize I was in debt. And debt was making me believe things that were not mathematically true. Because if you just break out a calculator, you will clearly see no multi-marketing thing makes any mathematical sense. It breaks all the laws of mathematics. And that's when it comes to your money, that's the only law that counts. It doesn't matter if MLMs are legal or if there's a scam or whatever. MLMs are legal, okay? But they break all the laws of mathematics. Okay, they make absolutely no sense. None, zero. You are not your own boss. You're nothing, right? But you got to remember the times that we're in, back outside the debt matrix, the time that we're in right now, millions of people are out of work and they're grasping at straws. They're thinking of anything. What can get me out of this thing fast? They don't know they're slaves. They don't know what they're reaching for. They're just believing anything. And the genius about multi-level marketing, they have you recruit your friends. So when you come to a person, this is your friend, they love you, and you come to them with a multi-level marketing idea, they're going to trust you because you're their friend. You're not going to scam them, whatever. You guys don't know you guys are both slaves, because if your friend is coming to you, and so if your friend is already in it and they're coming to you, the friend is a slave and they know you're a slave too. Because here, so you guys can understand, this is why multi-level marketing breaks all the laws of mathematics. If you have a student loan, according to the laws of mathematics, you can't invest in multi-level marketing. You can't. That's impossible. Even with now you come back into the debt. Now I'm coming back into the debt matrix. What I thought was so weird when I was in multi-level marketing. I was like, okay, I sign up my friend, and then they give you this stupid ass tier thing that's shaped like a triangle. If you watch it, right, it really is. It's really shaped like a triangle. It's like obvious, right? You come in, and then your friend goes, "Hey, man," and oh damn, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Crap! I hate it when I do that. You come into the multi-level marketing. Okay, so they have you recruit your friends. You love these people, and then you guys get together. You guys are slaves joining the same. And what's crazy is that you can't make money unless you keep buying the product, right? If you stop buying the product, you can't get commissions. It's just the craziest. So you see, I saw all this stuff, this product just piling up in my house that I was never going to sell, because once you eliminate all your friends, they're automatically signed up. So if you leave, because it's crazy, if you leave, those people go up to the higher person to you. Just because you're out of the game, they just stop paying you, and now they got the money from all your friends. It just keeps going on and on and on. It just never. I always thought that was weird. I'm like, damn, this stuff is just piling up in my house. And then they try to make it seem like the reason why the stuff is piling up in your house is your fault. All they was doing is preying on me not trusting mathematics. I was a slave. That's why I believed in multi-level marketing, because I was a slave. I wasn't my own boss. If I just pulled out a calculator, I would have clearly seen none of it made any mathematical sense. And this is what's so crazy, right? So this is, I get what they do. They're pretty, it's good, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's illegal, but again, it don't break the man-made laws, but it breaks all the laws of mathematics. Anyway, I remember when this last dude, I think it was Amway. I think it was, and was the time when I was still paying off my debt, because when you're paying off your debt, and I didn't really have nobody to talk to at the time. Okay. When you're paying off your debt, as I'm paying off my debt, I start to see things change. Things just start to change. Everything changes around you. I don't really know how to describe that part, but things change, right? So I remember this person I came across, they got me signed up for this Amway. So they always do the same shit. Hey, got this project. Hey, you want to be your own boss? You want financial freedom? All the things that slaves want in the back of their mind. They don't say it out loud. Slaves know they want financial freedom. Slaves know they want to be a boss, and they don't want to work 9 to. They use all the things that slaves no longer want. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me too. Yes, it's all of you slaves. You tired of working a 9 to 5? Yeah, that's millions of you. You want to be your own boss? Yeah, millions of you do, slaves. They all say this. They all say the things that you guys dream of, but you guys just don't know. You don't realize that you're a slave. You cannot be a boss if you don't own yourself. If you don't own yourself, you cannot be a boss. That's impossible. You can't do that. Oh, shout out to Mingoism for the $50 super chat. Thank you, sir. Hello, LJ from the NYC. Me and my wife put a AT&T employee lady onto your channel. Okay, she has a credit card debt. My wife pay her phone bill and bill is 0, but I put some money on it anyway. We told her we are debt free. Wow, that's man, that giving thing, man. My wife pay her phone bill and bill. Man, that giving thing, man. You guys understand that it's gonna come back to you tenfold, man. Congratulations, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. But anyway, okay, so back to the guy that was trying to get me on Amway, right? But anyway, as I'm transitioning, you hear things different. So he brings me to the thing. I walk into this place. They always have these big, huge coliseums to get slaves all pumped up, right? I'm walking in with this dude. I swear to God, it's like it's scripted. Okay. I walk in with this guy. Everybody's like, hey, welcome. Oh, you're with this guy? Oh my God, you're working with the best guy in the whole region. He chose you. I was like, now these guys, you got to remember, MLM people don't come across people that are debt free. So they just run the same thing on everybody. It's just a program. Okay. So you walk in, oh man, you work with, I was thinking to myself, oh, really? I'm with the best guy in the whole company. Oh, okay, whatever. And then as we're sitting down, everybody from all ages starts coming up. Hey, this is so-and-so. She's 20. She's a millionaire. Look at this guy. He's 55, 60. He's been working at this old factory all for 50,000 years. And he came on the Amway. Now he's rich. I was like, and they don't like to tell you what it's about. They like, hey, come to this meeting. It's like it's a secret. Hey, come to this meeting. You're like, come to what meeting? What about what? Oh man, you'll know when you get here. Oh, that's a dead giveaway. When they don't tell you, it's an MLM. Okay, just understand that. You guys don't. But anyway, we're in there. We're in the Coliseum. Everybody's coming up on stage and the big screen, and everybody. Hey, I used to be a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids, and look at my house. I got a house here in the Bahamas and over here in London, and this and that. All because it's like, come. How do I know you didn't put? This is what I'm thinking. How do I know you didn't pull those pictures off of Google? I have no idea if you own any of that. But slaves don't think like that. They just see the person on the stage and they see this picture behind them and they make the association with the two. It's like when you see like stomach muscle machines on commercials, but there's a guy with a 6-pack with this machine. They didn't say that machine made the 6-pack. They just make the association. If I buy this electric shock machine, I'm gonna have a stomach like his. No, you're not a slave. That guy that's in there, he's paid to be there. He didn't use that machine to get a 6-pack. I promise you, I have a 6-pack, and that machine there's no way a machine like that would have did it. Okay. Anyway, this dude and his wife, they're always nicely dressed because they got to look the part. They got to come up in a nice car. You got to believe that they're making money. You have to believe it, right? Anyway, we had a meeting. All right. And they knew I wasn't coming on the hook for some reason. They didn't really understand why I wasn't jumping on board so quickly. And then I went to one of these meetings and they're like, hey, this is all you got to do. You make this kind of money. And then you just go get your customers to buy from this website. And then you make the commission. I said to myself, this is what I said to myself. Okay. You think I'm going to convince a person that uses Amazon to stop using Amazon and come use your product? Oh, hell, no way in a million years is that going to happen. Hey, man, I got this deal, man. You know, you can, and if you just stop using Amazon, you can use these guys. They got the same stuff over in this. That would never happen, ever. So one day I sat down. They was trying to finally jump me on. I said, hey, man, I think you guys got to. And I said it to him. I don't know. I think they had to hear this. I said to him, I said, hey, I got to tell you guys something, okay? Maybe you'll understand it, maybe you won't. I said, but I'm not in debt. That's what I told them. I'm not in debt. They kind of gave me this puzzled look like, what's debt got to do with any of it? That's the only way, I promise you, okay, slaves? That's the only way an MLM can be successful is if you're a slave, all right? Or if you want, no, let me take that back, okay? If you understand, you will get into an MLM very differently than way you do now. There's one way that slaves use MLMs, and there's one way with people that understand money. Now, if I got into that MLM, I would know exactly how to use it. I could tell if my recruiters are slaves, if they're just trying to recruit me because they're slaves. I'm like, hey, I'm not talking to you. I need to talk to the person that's a diamond, or whatever they come up with these names that sound good, rubies, diamonds, whatever, right? And he kind of gave me, him and his wife gave me this puzzle look like, what does that mean? I was like, I don't know how else to tell you. I said, I'm not signing up for this. Okay. I'm just not doing it. It makes absolutely no sense. And they just couldn't understand. They kept reaching out, calling me and kept, I'm like, hey man, I'm going to stop answering the calls. I already told you, no, I'm not coming on. I'm not a slave. I didn't know the slave at that time. I just kept telling them no at that particular time. But now that I'm out of it, right now, there are millions of people out of work. Millions of people, millions. Like I said earlier, you guys are just grasping. In comes the MLM to solve your problems. You tired of being broke? You want to live like us? Look, we're dressed apart. We got nice suits and cars and houses. You want to be like us, right? Join this MLM. Recruit all your friends and family. You guys can all be rich. And then they have these big fancy conventions, and then all the slaves advertise this convention on their social media for absolutely free. Hey, look where we're at. We're looking at, I just see a bunch of slaves up in a big room with flashing lights and big screens in the background, and somebody up on the stage talking about 10X. It's all MLM. You're not your own boss. No, you're not. No, you are your own boss. Okay, change the product name. Say, I don't want it named that. I'm gonna change the name to this. Or, hey, I don't like the size of that package. I'm gonna reduce it. You don't have no say. You're probably looking at these products that they're selling. You probably don't believe in any of it. No, you don't. You're just looking at the money. They know that. Trust me, those people know you don't really believe in this overpriced product. You don't. You know, when you sell their stuff, you know you can get the same product if you go to Amazon for way cheaper than that. But why are they selling it for more money? Because you are the product slave. You. MLMs break all the laws of mathematics. And if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. It can't. Stop calling it a scam. If you're one of these people like, hey, MLMs are scams, they're a pyramid scheme, this is all you got to do. Is it against the law? No, then it's not a scam. Man-made laws. MLMs break all the laws of mathematics. They have no, MLMs make absolutely no mathematical sense for you slaves. Now you get on the other side towards the top, it makes absolutely mathematical sense. You better believe that is. MLMs are ingenious. Let me make sure it's straight. Whoever came up with that model and it's legal, they are absolutely genius. I have no idea how MLMs are legal. I have no idea. I have no idea how they're legal. They make no sense. They make no sense. But well, at the same time, I understand, because if you trusted math, you wouldn't do an MLM. You just be like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. But on the same note, if you have student loans and you think you're investing in something, not even just an MLM, anything, if you are making car payments and student loan payments and cell phone payments, they are after you. You are the prime person, the prime stock to be in an MLM, because you don't know you're a slave. Only slaves don't know they have no money to invest in anything. So they just came up with some shit. They came up with something. They put in all the phrases and the words: be your own boss. Don't stop working 9 to 5. Don't you hate your job? They know you. They say all the things. All you guys think you're individual. You guys are one. Slaves, you guys are one. You hate your boss? Yeah. You hate getting up every day at 8 and coming back home at 5. No time to spend with your kids and your family and your dog. Yeah, that's me. That's all of you. You think they're saying something new? You just feel like they're talking to you because you think you're an individual. You guys are one. MLMs couldn't work without you. You guys are slaves. What do you like when you go to those big conventions? Who do you think's paying for all that stuff? You slaves. But again, if you understand this and then you jump into an MLM, you will kill the game. You will kill it. You'll make so much money, but you won't say, hey, family and friends, won't you join this? You not that way. You wouldn't say join it the way that all the slaves can see. You'll say join it this way. You're like, I'm out of the debt matrix. When I look at an MLM, I clearly see why it's designed the way it's designed. I have no idea. I have no idea what wording they use in some legal jargon to make it legal. It's somewhere in the legal jargon. I'm sure a lawyer knows exactly what paragraph and line that makes it legal. It's probably a paragraph, right, that makes it legal, different from a pyramid scheme. That's all it is. And if it's legal, it's legal. Hey, whatever, right? But you get outside the debt matrix and you look at it, you'd be like, oh, damn, I can make and it's legal. Okay. So, because I don't want when you come to the SMD, there's let me make sure it's clear here. Slaves are giving away money, so there's absolutely no exception of scamming people, ripping people off, lying to them, stealing their money. There's absolutely no reason. If they don't trust math, you don't need to steal from slaves. They don't trust math. So there's absolutely no reason for that. So if you learn what to hear and then you join the MLM, it's legal, because they're choosing not to trust mathematics. If they trusted math, they'd be like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, you're on the wrong side of the MLM. You need to be over here. It's no different. Like, here's zero. Why do you think zero is by itself? Slaves don't even see zero. Every other number throughout the whole numbering scheme has an opposite except zero. Zero's by itself. It has nobody to it. There is no such thing as positive zero. There is no such thing as negative zero. It's just zero. Every human being that can count was taught zeros in there. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. If you're on the negative side of zero, you're on the wrong side of the MLM. You get on the other side of zero, you'd be like, oh, that's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works. It's easy. Trust me, it's easy to see. And then when you got to, and this is how you'll know if slaves are trying to help, is trying to enter you into, they're giving you slave information. Okay, they don't know what they're saying because nothing they're saying makes any mathematical sense. So when they come to you and say, "Hey, man, I got this offer for you," you say, "Hey, do you have student loan debt?" If they say yes, ignore them. They have no idea what they're saying. Nothing. You can't invest with negative dollars. You can't. Hey, man, I got this offer, this and that. Do you got a mortgage? Yeah. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're saying. You have no idea what you're saying. You don't even own yourself. You telling me about an investment and you don't even own yourself? Shut up. Now, I'm not saying say that to your family and friends. I'm saying say that in your mind. Shut up. Those are slaves talking. You cannot invest with negative dollars. If you understand this, you will kill it in an MLM because you'll be on the right side of it. You won't be like, hey, man, I got to recruit some people and then they're going to work under me in the tier. There's a different tier when you get out of debt. I promise you, there's a whole different tier. Do I know what it looks like? No, but I know it exists. How do I know it exists? Because they are making billions of dollars in MLMs. And right now is to understand what SMD does. And right now, MLMs are going to, you guys don't even get it. MLMs are going to go through the roof. Why? Because there are millions of people out of work, desperate slaves, desperate for anything. They're investing in MLMs, cryptocurrency. Listen, all the shit that doesn't even exist. Cryptocurrency doesn't even exist. Doesn't even exist. So they see this image of these products and blah, blah, blah. They just believe it. They don't believe in it. All this overpriced shit that they can get for half the price on Amazon. Why would somebody buy from you when they can get the same product for half the price on Amazon? Why would they do that? They won't. They won't. Sorry, slaves. What's up, Gut, Mind, and Heart? Sonny the Great. Right now, the slaves, man. You guys are desperate. It's a few things you're desperate. You lost your job. You're trying to maintain the image. This is what you guys, we can see you guys doing this. Okay. I just want to make sure you're clear. We can see you doing, you're trying to maintain the image like the economy is not affecting you. So you're doing whatever it takes to keep up with your car payments, your mortgage payments, your credit card, because you don't want your credit score to go down during this time. All the things that slaves do wrong. That's all wrong. You're trying to keep the stuff that got you in the situation to you. You think the economy did it to you. I understand. You think, oh my God, coronavirus sent me. No, coronavirus just made it apparent. That was already there. You've been a slave. You just didn't know it. Now, something like this, now it shows it. Now you're like, hey man, I'm about to lose my house. You know why you're about to lose your house? Because you never owned it. If you owned it, you can't lose what you own. I lost my car. You didn't lose anything. It was never yours. That's why you're losing it. They're taking it back. The owners are coming to take it back. They come and get their house. They come and get their car. See what I'm saying? What's up, Armed Rebellion? Hey, LJ, long time listener, first time commenting. Thank you, sir. And you've helped me on my journey. You are spot on. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it, man. And I get a lot of that too. You guys email me. I appreciate that. You know, I don't really comment that much, but you know, I thank you, and I really appreciate that, man. I just this is how I look at it, like armed rebellion. I think to myself, if I got a total stranger to stop doing whatever he was doing to take a few minutes to type what you just commented here, I'm doing my job, man. I'm doing my job. So thank you. I appreciate that. Let me put this up here because people always ask me right after something like that. There's my website and there's my Cash App. Okay. And thank you everyone that Cash Apps me. I apologize. I never say that, but thank you for Cash Apping me, for watching my videos. I appreciate the donations very much. So thank you very much. Slave. Yeah. You guys really don't understand. They are making slaves by the thousands. And MLMs are really okay. Again, I'm not saying anything negative about MLMs. I'm saying don't be a slave when using it because it's legal, right? It's legal. Anybody, and I promise you this, okay? This is very important. You got to make sure a slave is not talking to you about an MLM. Hey, I got this great idea. You got student loans? Yeah. Stop listening to them. Hey, I got this great idea. You have a mortgage? Yeah. Stop listening to them. Stop listening to them. Don't listen to them. You have no idea. You have no idea what type of mortgage they have, what type of mortgage they have, how long they've had it, and if you just cannot listen to people like that. You can They don't know what they're saying. You got credit card debt? Yeah. You making car payments? Yeah. Stop listening to them. They're on the wrong. If they're making car payments, they're on the wrong side of the MLM. If they're coming to you with a MLM idea, you look at their phone. If they have the latest phone, this is what you say, so they don't know. How much did that phone cost? If they say I don't know, stop listening to them because they're making phone payments. Because if you pay $1,500 plus tax for a phone, and somebody asks you how much was that phone, you're going to say whatever the price plus $1,700. You're going to say $1,700. You're not going to say if you drop $1,700, you're not going to say, oh, I don't know how much this phone. You're going to say $1,700. You're not going to say I don't know. Slaves don't know they do that. They're on the wrong side. They're on the wrong side of the MLM if they're making phone payments. Thank you, Daquan. Appreciate it. That's the only thing you get here. The truth. That's what people are so easy. Oh man. Imagine all you got to do is go out, stop looking at social media because they're lying to you. You think slaves are gonna post what's really going on? We see you, slaves. You guys are desperate. Throwing all kind of shit out there. Hey, try this, do that, do this. No, slave, no, you're just grasping. Understand the difference between MLM and direct sales? Sonny the Great says, I asked an MLM recruiter about taxes, and he had I asked the MLM recruiter about taxes. He had this confused look on his face. Hey, don't listen to him. Exactly. Has no idea what they're saying. Shout out to Nicer. Appreciate it. Sal says, slaves ignore the calculator app on their phone. They rarely use it. Next step is to receive payments. Sure is. I'm getting there, man. My next goal right now, besides the success of this business, to pay when I get my next house, it will be in cash. And you're probably thinking, how are you going to get it in cash? When the crash happens. Slaves don't know a housing market crash is coming. You guys don't even know. How much money it would take to stop the next housing. That would take trillions and trillions of dollars to stop the next housing market crash. That's not happening. It's coming. Right now is the time to sell. Sell. You get top dollar, if not more, because it's not even going to work. Half that price come to crash. No, it's not. And if you're concentrated on an MLM, especially when you're a slave, put it this way, if your student loans is your oldest debt out of if your student loans are older than your mortgage, and you're talking about an MLM that you think you're making money in an MLM, no, you're not. No, you're not. If your student loan is your oldest debt, you are a slave. The MLM is using you. You can use it. The MLM is a vehicle. If it's legal, that means it's a legal vehicle. If you're a slave, you're doing it wrong. If you have student loan debt and you get into MLM, you're a slave. You're not doing it right. You don't know you can't invest negative dollars. You don't know that. So don't be one of these people walking around talking about, oh, MLM's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. When you hear that, you turn to them and say, is it legal? Yeah. Then why are you calling it a scam? I don't get it. It's a legal scam. Make them express, because slaves just repeat everything they hear other slaves say. They just repeat it. Hey, where'd you hear that from? Oh man, I was on the thing and I saw and I clicked on this link. My friend, was your friend a slave that sent you the link? Slaves just share information amongst each others. You guys don't even know you do that. Better believe that. Better believe that. Nice says, how many people was at the edge of the debt cliff, heard a voice say, is my math right? And turned around to see who said that exactly. Is my math right? This is a wake-up call, you guys. I want you guys to stop. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. If you don't own yourself, nothing outside of yourself exists. Okay. I want you to understand mathematically. All you got to do is put in the math. Everything I'm saying, only look at it mathematically. If my math is right, I'm right. Math is an exact science, meaning it's never wrong. So if I agree with math, I'm right and you're wrong. If you don't own yourself, nothing outside of yourself can exist. Okay. You can't own a home with a mortgage. That if you look at the laws of mathematics say you can't do that. If you have a mortgage, if you're in the negative, no money exists. Nothing exists. Paper money, gold, silver, diamonds, none of that exists for you. That's an illusion for you. None of that exists. None of it. And if you don't know that, if you don't know paper money doesn't exist for you, and then you join an MLM, you are a slave, and the MLM is taking advantage of you. All you got to do is trust mathematics, and you'll clearly see that okay, MLMs make no mathematical sense for slaves. It's not that. You'd be surprised, like when you look at an MLM. Some people call it a pyramid scheme, right? But if you look at a 30-year mortgage, 30 years of your life to pay off one house. What does that sound like to you? Does that sound like a scam or it sounds ridiculous, right? If you believe it takes 30 years of your life to pay off one house, you're probably in an MLM. If you have a 30-year FHA mortgage, you're probably doing MLMs right now. That's what you're probably doing. You're probably thinking you're making money. You're not. If you have a student loan older than your subprime mortgage and you doing MLMs, no, the MLM is doing you. The MLM's doing you. Look at the MLM like the whole financial system. The system is just there. It only favors those who trust mathematics. If you don't trust math, the financial system is against you because you're wrong. It's not going to go with you. You're going against the laws of mathematics. That's why that's not why it's not for you. Exactly. A 30-year mortgage is an MLM. It is. So imagine this. I know it's a little off the subject, so you guys can really get it. Because these housing, they like when they put 100 houses on a little piece of land and they're so close, right? Not only do they get individual loans for each one, they can charge a HOA, a subprime mortgage, PMI, and those people. This is better. If you have a subprime mortgage inside of one of those housing complexes where they're 100 houses on one lot, and you're paying HOAs and you're paying PMI, I guarantee you're doing an MLM. Guarantee you're doing it because you believe everything they're saying. You believe the MLM is going to get you out of this, something that you put yourself in. The majority of people in MLMs are slaves. All because you don't trust mathematics. Nothing's wrong with the MLM. It's not a scam. It's not a pyramid scheme. And put it this way too. I want you guys to understand this. This is just what slaves hear. As soon as you hear a slave call an MLM a pyramid scheme, you turn to that person and say, "What is a pyramid scheme?" Ask them. Say, "What is a pyramid scheme?" They won't have an answer for you. They don't know. They just know pyramid schemes are bad. And that means a pyramid scheme means it's a ripoff and whatever, right? It's the stupidest nonsense, but that's why you're in the MLM. Paper money is not real money. Only gold and silver is real value. Now I want to show you guys something with this example with my friend here, okay? Because I don't want you to be confused. that think paper money is not, none of it's real. Gold is not real. Silver is not real for slaves. All right. Now, I want you guys to follow the mathematics. I really want you to understand something. I want to get you out of the debt matrix so you don't believe this shiny gold thing is, wow, it's so shiny. That's why it's shiny. So you slaves will believe it, that it means something because it's shiny. Now, say like an ounce of gold. Let's do it real time. Let's see what gold is worth today. Let's see right here. Okay. Today. All right. It says 1744. All right. We're just gonna say 1700. All right. We'll just say 1700 for now. Okay. An ounce. Okay. All right. This is what I want you to see. We're gonna do a scenario. We're gonna put each other, like, imagine we're standing next to each other, right? And there's an ounce of gold that's worth 1700 sitting on the table. Okay. You pick it up and you're holding this gold and it's worth $1,700. At the same time, I want you to open it. It doesn't matter if the gold, like, we're going to do it now because it doesn't matter if the gold is actually in your hand, because it's not, but we're going to pretend that it is. I want you to go open your calculator up and I want you to go 1,700 minus your student loan debt equals the value of gold to you. Hit the equal sign. And then when you look at the calculator, this is where you're going to have the dilemma being in the debt matrix. Okay. You're going to look at the calculator and the calculator is going to say, the value of gold is nothing to you. But then you're going to look at the gold in your hand and then look at what Google says, and you're going to believe it's 1,700. Okay. But the calculator is going to say, no, it's not. The value of gold doesn't even exist for you. Now imagine we're standing in front of each other. Okay. You take that same piece of gold and then you hand it to me. Now it's in my hand. Open up the calculator app and then you put 1,700 minus no student loan debt and hit equal. Gold is real for me and people like me. Gold is not real for you, slaves. So I don't want you guys going around thinking that, all these people telling you this and intrinsic value and gold is this and that. Yeah, that's true. Now, I'm not saying none of that is not true. It's true for people that own themselves, not for slaves. It doesn't mean anything. If you believe it is, even though the calculator is telling you it's not, and you believe it is, that's your problem. Gold and silver are money, but a slave is worth more, way more. Pyramid scheme is top down structure that owns you. I want you guys, if you're a slave, everything owns you. Your house, your car, credit cards, whatever. It really, I think, honestly, I don't know why people make this, and I'm not talking to you, gut mind heart. I'm just saying in general. I don't know why people make this so difficult. If it breaks the laws of mathematics, it's not true. They are going to right now is the time. Scammers, MLMs, desperate people are going to be taking advantage of your panic. You guys are in a panic mode. I know when you go on social media, it doesn't look like people are in panic mode. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I promise you they are. How do I know this? All you got to do is Google how many people are out of work. That'll tell you right there. Google how many people are out of work right now, and then go back. And then you got to automatically think, then somebody on social media is lying. The majority of them are lying. 97% of people are in debt. Doesn't matter if they know it or not. It don't matter how they feel about it. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. So basically, you're saying all we need to calculate is our net worth. Yeah. Just open up the calculator, put in your savings, and put in your debt. Net worth equal my assets minus my debt. Well, see, and I want to make sure This is clear. If you're in debt, you have no assets. Okay, that's impossible. According to the laws of mathematics, if you don't own yourself, you cannot have assets. Because if you don't own you can't own something else. Something else owns you, but you believe you own something else. That's impossible. You can't do that. That goes against all the laws of mathematics, all the law. So, and I want to make sure everybody understands slaves, asset only means one thing: a money producing object, entity, whatever, right? Something that's producing, but you got to own what they're saying is this: an asset is something that somebody owns. You have to own that asset. You have to own it. So a lot of slaves believe they're homeowners with mortgages. So they believe the home is an asset. Yes, slave, that is true. It is an asset, but not for you. It's an asset. Yeah, that's true, but not for you. You have a mortgage. So no, it's not an asset for you. The equity, and you think if you have a mortgage and you think you own the equity in a house, because a lot of slaves like to calculate the equity in a house and add it to their net worth and shit like that. I just don't. This is what you got to do, slaves. Open your calculator app. Take your mortgage minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. That's your equity that you have in a house that you don't own. That's your equity right there. Mortgage payment minus mortgage balance equals your equity. Hit equal. Now, here's the dilemma again. Here's the dilemma. And it's very hard. Okay. I get it. It's very difficult to accept this. But you look at the calculator saying, you don't own shit. You don't have equity in shit. You don't have any kind of assets. Right here. That's what the calculator's saying. You don't own nothing. Either you believe the calculator or you believe the illusion that you're living in. Now, it's very difficult. You're gonna look at the calculator, and then you're gonna look around the house. You're gonna see the walls and the TV and the refrigerator and the garage and the roof and the second level and all this other stuff. But the calculator is gonna say, but none of that exists. None of it. So this is what you're gonna say to yourself. You're gonna believe the illusion and say, you're wrong, math, that I put in myself. You're wrong. Everybody around me says this is an asset and the equity is mine. All the slaves are telling you that. So just think about it this way. Imagine there are trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt, trillions with a T. That's millions of people, millions that believe they're homeowners. Millions of them do. Millions. Okay. Imagine how many of those people are investing in MLMs. They're investing in MLMs with money that doesn't even exist. Doesn't even exist. Do you see why MLMs are making billions of dollars? They just say all the things that slaves wish. Be your own boss. Don't talk to, you don't have to answer to anybody. You tired of working 5-6 days a week overtime? Yeah, you can come here and do. You don't have. And they just go, yeah, that's what I want. All you guys like do 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 like something spinning, and you guys just no. What's up, eclectic agitator? Well, I know that. I know that. What's up, the great 23-ish? Al says, my sociology and political science degree in victimhood is my asset. My sociology and political science degree in victimhood. In victimhood. If my savings is greater than my mortgage, I am free. No, because you have a mortgage. You're not free. If your savings is more than your mortgage, you're not free because you have a mortgage. See what I'm saying? Just because it's still there. So that means you're not free. So if that's the case, take the money from your savings and just pay off your mortgage. It's like, put it this way, and this is a good example. He said, if my savings is more than my mortgage. So what is he saying? Okay. Say like he owed $100,000 on his mortgage, but he has $300,000 in savings. Okay. The bank owns the asset. That means the bank still owns him. But mathematically, 300,000 minus 100,000, he still has 200,000. He's still in the green. Okay. But what people don't see is that if you pay off the house, it's still the same number. It's still 200,000, but you own the house. See what I'm saying? People think the math changes. Hey, what if this is this and this is this? Well, yeah, it's 200,000. You're in the plus. You're still, but if you pay off the house, you're gonna be 200,000 in the plus. Plus, you're gonna own a house. But when you don't do that, you're still the same. You're still plus 200,000, but you don't own a house, and this money is getting lesser and lesser and lesser each time you hold that. It's so crazy to live on this side. It just makes so much sense. Put it this way: a house, there is no better investment than a paid off house. A house will pay you back dividends for the rest of your life, guaranteed. No matter what the market's doing, your house will return dividends. You're probably thinking, well, how could that happen? I'm going to show you. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you. Okay. Trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. Trillions. Millions of people in mortgage loan debt. That's millions. Each of those guys will be paying a mortgage for the rest of their lives. Each of them for the rest of their lives. $1,500, $2,000, $5,000, that doesn't matter. Slaves think it's something, means something. They're going to be paying that for the rest of their life. You pay your house off now, while all those millions of people are paying mortgage and or rent, you will have just eliminated the largest expense. Your monthly expense is usually your mortgage or your rent. You will have just eliminated for the rest of your life. The mortgage, say like the stock market takes a tank and the housing value, the value of your house plummets, right? It goes down. It's worth 500 now, and now it's worth 2. You're like, oh my God. But when you own it, guess what? During that time, say like usually during those times you lose your job, or you can't do something. If you have no mortgage, who cares if you lose your job? You still have a place to live. You're still not paying rent. You're still not paying rent or mortgage, even when it tanks. It doesn't matter. Who cares if it? If you own your house and you're not thinking about selling it anytime soon, who cares what the stock market does? So what? It's going to come back. God's the only one that can make more land. God is the only one that can do that. It's going to come back. And when you got a paid off house, you just chill. You just go, okay, shit. Well, if everything tanks and your housing value goes down, you just go, oh, I wasn't selling anyway, but this would be the wrong time to sell. All right, cool. What's up, Walt? It's funny how basic common knowledge can get a person ostracized in society if spoken in public. Yeah, well, that's if you care about what slaves' opinions and what they say, it'll bother you. But if you don't, it won't. And my savings is making more. Okay. My friend, okay, listen, and you know I love you, okay? You know I love you. You have to stop saying things like that in public, especially on this channel. You have to stop saying things like that. Hey, and my savings is making more than my mortgage payment. You got to stop saying stuff like that. You have to. Once you get out of the debt matrix, my friend, you will never, ever, and you come back and read this statement that you said, you're going to be embarrassed. You got to stop saying stuff like that, man. That's not true. Okay, business SavingsMinusDebt. Use your savings to pay off your mortgage. Exactly. That's exactly what to do. It's the same thing, but it's a plus. LJ, the family continues to enslave themselves. My cousin is doing grad school at Columbia to become a teacher. So dirty. You guys don't even get it, man. They're making slaves by the hundreds of daily slaves. Eclectic Agitator says, my constructive code of thought, speech, and action based on the truth and facts, good logic and understanding is my wealthiest asset. Sure is. Slaves will make it seem like you are crazy, but once you just stick to logic, man. Big Doe says, isn't it true that you can never really own a house because if you don't pay the taxes on that house, you can still lose it? Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, Big Doe, so I get it. I get the question. So this is what you got to ask yourself, because now remember, only a slave would say that. Hey, you don't really own your house because if you don't pay the taxes, you can still lose it. Then you got to ask yourself. Slaves don't know to ask themselves this question. If that's the case, if you know that you will never truly own your house, why are millions of people financing it for 30 years? Why are millions of people financing something for 30 years that they know that they're never going to own because of taxes, but yet millions of people are doing? That's why only a slave will tell you that, would say such a statement. Hey, man, it's true. If you don't, you're going to lose your house in Texas. Slaves don't know if you're not in debt, taxes ain't shit. Taxes are not, if you have no debt, imagine this. If you had no debt and no mortgage, would you even think about your yearly taxes? Would you even think about that? That would not be anything to pay. Nothing. That would be nothing to pay. Yearly taxes to a monthly mortgage at a percentage rate. Never. So only slaves make such. When you get out of debt, you will understand taxes are your friend. You get out of debt, you will understand the purpose of taxes. You will look at taxes like, oh, that's why they're there. That's why they're there. Why is that? Because if we didn't force slaves to participate, they wouldn't. They already slaves think the only reason why they're in debt is because of taxes. That's what we want them to think. That's a program. That's a program to make you believe taxes are bad. Taxes are the reason why you can't get ahead and you can't live in a certain area because of taxes. That's a program. None of that is true. None of that is true. That's not true. Yes, this is why you must become tax sovereign. Now, if you're in debt, don't worry about what Andre said. Don't Google it and don't even think you're going to get the answer on motherfucking Google. Google's not even going to tell you the answer. It's going to tell you the meaning of sovereign, tax sovereign. But unless you're in debt, you don't know. You'll never know. You can't. Tax payments received minus tax paid. Put it this way. Let me tell you, slaves pay two taxes. You guys pay the tax that you can see with your eyes, and even then you still don't see it. And then there's a tax you don't see because you were slaves. All right. Say like you go finance a car. I'm gonna walk you through this so you can understand what slaves do. And I always like to use car because you guys all finance cars. You guys all think financing cars is normal. Only slaves finance cars. Okay. First, if you walk on a car lot and say, I'm just looking, and then you crack your lips about financing, they know you're a slave right off the bat, because right off the bat, they already know only slaves finance cars. I'm not saying the salesmen, because usually the salesmen are slaves too. I'm talking about the business owners. Okay. If you're financing a car, you're obviously a slave. Then they bring you in. And then they keep you there for all day, 4 or 5 hours to buy one car. Only a slave would waste the time in their life sitting at a car lot more than 30 minutes to buy a car. But since you're financing it, you prepare yourself. That's why they set up the little kiddie areas for you guys. So when you bring in your kids can play over there. And why they just keep running you, just wear you out, just keep wearing you out. And then they wait till your kids get tired of playing at the little kiddie thing. And then they start to irritate you. At that point, you'll sign anything. They just wait. That's why they keep going to the back room. There's nobody back there. When they say, hey, I'm going to talk to my manager or whatever, there's nobody back there. They just, because if you don't know your own money and you're waiting on somebody else to tell you how much you can spend of your own money per month, you're a slave. If you believe the sticker price that they see on the car is the sale price that you're going to get, and you're financing it for 84 months, you're a slave. So here's the additional tax on top of those type of taxes. Here's the additional tax that you guys don't see. If you don't have the money to buy the car, you don't have the money for the taxes. So say like the car is $30,000 plus tax. You don't have the money for the car. You're most definitely not going to have the money for the taxes. So not only are you paying for the car plus tax, you're financing the taxes too, wrapped up in a bundle. And then what the bow is a percentage rate. You're financing taxes at a percentage rate. That's the tax you guys don't see because you're slaves. When you get out of debt, you don't pay those kind of taxes. That's called slave tax. That's the I don't know tax. I'm a slave. I don't know I'm financing taxes. I don't know I'm financing taxes when I finance a motherfucking cell phone. I don't know that. And then they financially abuse you. Do you understand, slaves? I'm gonna put this, if you guys got any questions on me, let me put this link up here so you guys can ask me. Let's see. If you own your house and your house value drops, it's a great because your property taxes, I forgot about that. You're right. Slaves don't know that. Slaves don't know that. If you own your house and the market takes a tank, so do your taxes. Your taxes go down too. And if you own your house and you're not selling, who cares if your value of your house goes down? You can kick back and know it's going to come back up. It is. People need places to live. Steven says, LJ, this is where you say, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. This is where you just say, okay. Steven knows, you guys out there trying to save your family and friends because you love them. I know it hurts. When you have family and friends you love and you know they're trapped in the debt matrix, that shit hurts. I ain't gonna lie, it hurts. Because you can't do anything about them. They just think they own stuff when math clearly shows that they don't, and they still don't believe it. It's hard, man. You just gotta go, okay, well, shit, okay. That's on Andre. Andre's gonna explain that. Hey, LJ, are you in favor of being married with a prenup and separation agreement? That is a great question, Mark. Let me tell you this, okay? You know why slaves talk about prenups and separation agreements? They're planning. Listen, why do people do that? They're planning for the breakup. They're planning for it. It's like this. If you're going into marriage, getting a prenup and a separation agreement, don't get married. Isn't that a sign that you shouldn't? Maybe it's not for you if you're planning that. And if people say, "Oh man, you just never know," let me tell you something. You come outside the debt matrix. Let me explain something to you, okay? You get out of the debt matrix, and you become an alien. You become free. No, I'm not gonna get that far. That's a different chat. You get out of debt matrix. You no longer a slave, and you own yourself. Okay, you own you. Slaves don't own themselves. Okay, and you're probably thinking, if who owns me then? If I don't own myself, then who owns me? That's a good question. Go log into your Credit Karma. Log in there. There's a list of all your owners. Those are all the people that own you. Okay. If you're puzzled and think, oh my God, what do you mean somebody owns? Log into your Credit Karma and see. That's a list of your owners. They all own you. Once you become free and you own yourself, you will never marry a slave, ever. You'll never date a slave. You won't even have sex with a slave. You won't. As a man, you know how as a young man, you think when you grow up, the men around you think, oh, you're supposed to hit every piece of ass and blah, blah, blah. You get out of debt. No, you won't do none of that. All that saying that you gotta fuck many women and do all, that's a lie. That's not true. That's not true. You don't have to do any of that. If you do that, you don't have to, sex controls you. And you get out of debt and you own yourself, you will never chance any of that with a slave. Get a slave pregnant? No. This goes for men and women. I'm just speaking on the man side. It doesn't matter. Doesn't care. You will get a slave. You're gonna trust a condom. You're gonna trust a thin piece of material that they don't guarantee 100% that it's gonna protect you. They say it right on the box. They say we don't guarantee shit. We don't guarantee nothing. and you get a slave pregnant, and you're based on this company's promise to say, hey, but if she gets pregnant, we're not liable for the next 18 years of payments, or 20 plus years, counts on what state you live in, that you're going to be tied to this person biologically. You think you would do that? Mm-mm. You know, your pool of dating goes down to this. Imagine the pool of dating, millions of people in there. You get out, the majority there's are 97% slaves. So your pool of dating gets down to here. If a relationship starts to get serious, you know what you're going to ask? I need to see your credit report. When you go on a date, you can't tell. I mean, you could tell. You can look at somebody's social media and tell if they're a slave. They will say it. Hey, look, I just got my new car. I deserve it. And I got a great deal. You should go see this person, blah, blah, blah. You're a slave. You're financing a car. Okay, thank you. I got the new phone. I know good and well you didn't pay for cash for that. You're a slave. One look at a person's personal credit report will tell you everything. You're not going to marry a slave, so you don't have to worry about prenup, separations agreement. That will never happen. You won't be in court, child support, marriage, hiring lawyers, having somebody in a black robe dictate your whole finances. If you're in a courtroom and somebody in a black robe, man or woman, is dictating your finances, you are doing it wrong. You got to stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, I'm a grown motherfucker. I got another grown person tell me about my money? Yeah, because it's your fault. You did it. Why? You married a slave. You had children with a slave. That's your fault. But you didn't know. You think I knew it? I didn't know. You think I knew before I got married? You think I knew I never once asked any of my wives, can I see your personal credit report? Never. Never. That was never, ever a thing, ever. Taxes are to maintain and support the community. Taxes are, put it this way. Taxes are the backbone of the whole economy. If they didn't force people to participate, they wouldn't. You think slaves would voluntarily pay taxes if given the option? No, they wouldn't. They think slaves are bad. I mean, they think taxes are bad. Of course they wouldn't. They think taxes are the reason why they're in slavery. No, it's not. No, you're not. That's not the reason. Why do you think they take taxes immediately out of a check before slaves get their paychecks from their employer? Because they wouldn't pay it. Big Doe says, okay, you said that if I own my house and lose my job, I can just sit back and kick it. But really, I can't, because it can be taken if I don't earn the money to pay the tax. That house. Okay. And I want you to, okay, let me see, I can say this to you. This is what I want you to understand. If you had the mental financial mind to pay off a house, to even pay off a house, you would know exactly what to do with the taxes. That would never happen. You would not go 5 to 7 years paying off a house just to lose it with taxes. That wouldn't happen. Only people that have a financial mindset would ever pay off a house. Anybody telling you that you can lose your house or because of taxes, you turn to them and say, do you have a mortgage? Yeah, that's why they're telling you that, because they have a mortgage. If you knew how to pay off a house, most definitely taxes are not going to be your downfall of losing the house. But great question though, Big. I get it. I get why you're asking that question, because a lot of slaves say that kind of stuff. Oh man, if I lose my job, I can't just sit back. Yes, you can, because you paid off a house. Yep, my friend works the car, man. Of course they do. Just put it this way, you guys. Just because somebody works at a car lot, that doesn't mean they're not a slave. Just because somebody works at a bank doesn't mean they're not a slave. Because a lot of slaves think, oh, so-and-so works at a bank, he must no, that doesn't mean anything. If you got a friend that works at a bank, this is what I want you to do. Ask them, do you have student loans? If they say yes, you say to yourself, why the fuck are you working at a bank then? I don't get it. If you have a friend who's an accountant, you ask that accountant, do you have student loan debt? If they say yes, you got to ask yourself, what are you doing with student loan debt? How long you been accounting? 20 years? And you still have your student loan debt? Yeah. What kind of accounting are you doing? Are you taking that knowledge and using it on your own finances? Obviously not, because you've had a student loan for 20 years. So you obviously are not that good at accounting. You can't be. What's up, reigning woman? Paying interest on taxes. You're right. Ain't that crazy? That's called slave tax. When you finance a car, you are paying interest on taxes. That's a tax for you guys, for slaves. For slaves that don't know. Why do you think banks are financing cars? Because you think they're just financing the price of the car. They're making so much money off of you guys. Oh God. You think they want them depreciating objects, those cars? Those cars are worth nothing. Like when people get a Porsche, okay, they get a Porsche, like, ooh, this Porsche's this and that. Is that the only Porsche? Oh no, they made like 300,000-400,000 of them. And you think that one Porsche you got, you think that car really cost $100,000 to make? No, it didn't. That car did not cost $100,000 to make. It didn't. How do I know that? There's 100,000 of them. What's up, Fred? Oh, long time no see. Long time no see. Can't save every. No, and let me make sure this is clear, okay? I don't want to say. Listen, without slaves, the economy could not exist. I don't want slaves to wake. I don't want the majority of the slaves to wake up. That'd be bad for me. I couldn't be free. And people like me, that's not, no. It's only bad when it's your loved ones, okay? It's really hard to see when you see your loved ones being slaves. But it is what it is. It doesn't discriminate. Debt is the colorblind slave master. All it sees is green. That's it. You could be short, tall, fat, gay, straight, white, black, Chinese. It doesn't care. It's like, oh, I see a green person that can work. This is debt. All I see is a green person that works, that needs to work to make me money. That's it. Nothing more than that. Only so much room. Hey, Andre, is that true what Mike Williams saying? Hey, Mike, Andre, he has a spaceship. And hey, Andre, is that true? How much room? Okay, tell me this. How much room is on your spaceship? And how do I know if you don't got the base models? What model spaceship do you have, Andre? Do you have the base model? Is it the Navigator? Red says, I get the logic, LJ, but you have to, even if you're both aliens, especially if you want to build generational wealth. I'm not sure what you're meaning. Now, I think what you're saying, Red, am I against loans? No. Business-wise, no. Business only? Loans are okay. I'm just talking about personal finances only, okay, you guys? I'm not against credit. Credit is a tool. It's a hammer. It's a lawnmower. I'm not against business loans. Okay, let's make sure that's clear. Without the credit system, I couldn't live the way I'm living. The majority has to be in debt. Let's make this clear. Marriage is a gamble, period. Well, it is, because that's another human being. I'm saying like this: if you get out of debt, 97% of your dating pool will be eliminated, because you will never date a slave. You won't have to see some kind of coaching guru, dating guru. If you don't own yourself, why are you looking outside yourself? For the answers. First, you got to own yourself. Once you own yourself, you'll be like, oh man, I don't even want to date the people that they're recommending. No, because they're all slaves. It doesn't matter if they're a doctor. It doesn't matter if they're a lawyer. It doesn't matter where they live. It doesn't matter what kind of car they have, what kind of house they have. It doesn't matter if they're slaves. They're slaves. They're just a slave in a nice house. They're a slave who's a doctor. There's a slave who's a lawyer. Did you know slaves that believe they own businesses? No, if you got the business owns you, slave. If you're a student, put it this way so you can understand it, because I usually don't cross over, but this example, I will cross over, okay? If your student loans are older than your business owns you, slave. Do you understand? You can't own a business if your student loans are older than your business. That breaks all the laws of mathematics. You can't do that. The laws of mathematics say that's impossible. You guys are moving here. I'm trying to catch back up. Let me see. Yeah, it's brutal. But on that note too, the great 23-ish, I was for one child, I was paying $1,100 a month. Okay. $1,100. Now, most people are like, oh my God, child support, blah, blah, blah. They just rape you. I was making $160,000 a year. Had I not been in debt, $1,100 a month wouldn't have been shit. That wouldn't have been nothing. If I had no debt making $160 a year, $1,100 was nothing. Nothing. No, it wasn't. Child support only seems like a lot when you're in debt. That's all. Eclectic says, I financed one car in my life, will never happen again. Woo, I financed many more than that. Believe that. Now the student loans don't show up. There will be a lot of marriages this year. Sure will. That's another thing. They're making slaves, Andre. Do you guys know they're creating generations of slaves right now? You guys don't even know that. Because it's the new economy. They need enough slaves to support the new economy for the next 80 to 100 years. They're making them all right now. You guys are getting married, having children, all the slaves getting together. Do you guys think you have more? You guys think you're taking advantage of the student loans not showing up on your credit report. You think you're doing something. They want you to get deeper in debt, slaves. This is why MLMs come in, they swoop in. Because you guys think you have extra money because you're not making payments. You guys think because the interest is not accruing on the student loans, you guys think you can take advantage of it. Slaves, you guys are taking advantage of nothing but yourselves. Nothing. They're taking full advantage of you. Taxes are the backbone. Students are the flesh. Sure is. Student loans are how they create slaves. Taxes must be paid. The shareholders, creditors would foreclose if you don't. Sure don't. They would take it. But again, if you paid off a house, trust me, taxes are the least of your worries. Okay. All right. I promise you that. Right down to about 5%. I believe that. Put myself through trade school, doing it again in June. Skills paid bills. Hey man, keep doing it. How old are you, Eclectic, man? I don't know if that's your picture or not, but I just want to know how old you are. Taxes on paid off house is nothing in comparison to mortgage and tax. I know, right? You're going to pay taxes you're paying taxes regardless. They don't care how you're paying the taxes. If you think you're a homeowner, with a mortgage, they don't give a shit. As long as you pay the taxes, okay? Whatever. My friend is a real estate agent and is in huge debt for sure. I'm probably desperate as hell trying to sell houses too. Can you imagine real estate agents that are deep in debt? You know how hard they're pushing to sell you a house? Oh man, they're trying to. Hey man, they'll get you in any loan right now. As long as they get the sale of that house, they don't know. I mean, they do know they're doing it because they're in debt. But hey, it's business. You have to pay income tax before you can pay sales tax. That's true. You got to pay it. Oh. If you guys knew how much you really earned after you pay income tax, and then you pay sales tax, and then you pay interest, then you pay PMI, then you pay HOA, and then you go and buy all this fucking fast food. You guys ain't making nothing. Ooh, they do you slaves so dirty. Ooh, they do you guys so dirty. Oh, and you guys be begging for more. You guys be begging to be slaves, just begging for it. It's about to be 6 seats on mine, and it's a tax on the ticket. Let me see what you're saying. It's about 6 seats on. I'm not sure what you're meaning by that. Red says, I was talking about prenups. My bad. Well, I know what you're talking about. Prenups. I get it. I totally get it. LJ, I've lost 35 pounds. Man, congratulations. That's the next. Once you realize the time in your life, you got to own yourself. You don't, slaves, you guys don't really understand that you don't own yourself. That's why you don't understand that time is the most valuable thing on earth. It's not money, it's time. Everybody knows they're going to be dead one day. The reason why you guys forgot that you're going to be dead one day is because you're in debt. You don't own the time in your life. You're a slave. Who owns the time in your life? Log into your Credit Karma. Those are the list of all the people and all the businesses that own the time in your life. They all own it. You don't own the time in your life. So say like this, when you finance a car, you finance it for 84 months, which is 7 years. For the next 7 years, you haven't even made the money yet. But that money for the next 7 years, you promised it to the bank. You haven't even earned it yet. What's the only way you can, what must you do to earn it? You must use the time in your life to earn the money to pay back the bank for that depreciating object that you're driving around. You're mad being in traffic. The very thing you're sitting in traffic in is the reason why you're in traffic, slave. The car you're in making payments on, that's why you're in traffic. If you didn't have car payments, you wouldn't be there. Do you understand? Oh, they do you guys so dirty, slaves. Marriage is nothing more than a business deal, two companies coming together. Put it this way. You get out of debt. You own yourself. You're not going to marry another person. Imagine if you marry another person that's on the same level, you guys will dominate. You guys understand. You guys both understand the rules, especially when it comes to financial. You understand the rules. Marriage is never a gamble for the true wealthy. Their parents make sure of it. Exactly. Don't try to understand that. You get out of debt. Oh yeah, it's set. You think arranged marriages don't exist? They do. I'm not saying arranged like you're going to marry this person. No, it's not like that. This is how it's going to be. You're not going to marry a slave. If you do, you're not bringing any of that in here. You're not getting anything. You're not, because you married a slave. You're trying to be a slave. No. You will never marry a slave. You will never take relationship advice from a slave. It doesn't matter if they're on YouTube. It doesn't matter if they have 1 million followers. You won't. No. You got a mortgage? Yeah, I'm not listening to a word you're saying. LJ is right. I tried dating slaves, and wait, hold on for a quick second, you guys. All right, I'm back. All right. Yeah, you won't even date slaves, okay? You won't even date them. All right, let me see. Steven says, LJ, it's amazing. It amazes me how people who are able to pay $12,000 in annual mortgage payments think they won't be able to afford $3,000 in annual taxes. I know, but you got to remember their mindset, Steven. It really, in their mind, they don't believe that they'll really ever pay off that house, right? Because the majority of them, their student loans are older than their mortgage. So if they haven't paid off their student loans, in their mind, they know they're never going to pay off a house. They know they're not. So dreaming of ever just being down to being taxes only is really, because slaves refinance houses over. They think if they take out a second mortgage and take that money on a down payment on the third on a rental property, and they think they're making money. You got 3 mortgages, slave. You got 2 mortgages on one house and another mortgage on a third house. And you think because you put a renter in to pay the mortgage, you think you're making a profit. Slaves just think of some of this. That breaks all the laws of mathematics. Slaves think it's normal to have 2 mortgages on one house when they needed a mortgage to get the house in the first place. And then they think they get a second and think they're investing. Slaves are so stupid. That breaks all the laws of math. You think you got 3 mortgages and you think you're making a profit because you have a renter in there paying the mortgage? No, the bank don't care who you have paying the mortgage. Okay, they don't care. If you believe you're making a profit, I guess you do, as long as the bank gets theirs. Oh man, buying versus renting and da da da. This is the difference. Renters know they're renting. People with mortgages don't know they're renting from the bank. They're both renting, slaves. Stop throwing away your money on rent. This is what I guarantee you the bank started that slogan. Stop throwing away your money on rent. You just didn't know the finish of the sentence. Give the money to us instead. Hey, why? This is what that means. Remove the landlord and put us in there. Give us the money. And will I be this is a slave. Will I be a homeowner if I rent from you, bank? The bank goes, sure you will. Here. Yeah, now get out of here, slave. If your prenup doesn't guarantee you guys talking about that still. Okay. Ship has infinite space. Okay. But you have to be debt free to free key. Okay, gotcha. Okay. You can't do the Vince Carter. She gets nothing, no alimony prenup. See, I don't be involved in none of that nonsense. Mm-mm. A man and a woman is a financial institution, Dr. Francis. I mean, you get with a person, a partner who's financially free. You guys are going to be on the same level, okay? Put it this way. You get out of debt. You're going to automatically create a business. You're going to see what businesses are doing. When you see like you get out of debt first, and then you really look at like Kanye, right? And his Yeezys, and he just made this deal with Gap, so I heard, or whatever, right? And same thing with Dr. Dre. If you see how much slaves will pay for some shoes, you will create a business. Because you know it didn't cost that much money to make red bottoms, Yeezys. I'm not saying Kanye made red bottoms, I'm saying Yeezys. It didn't cost those shoes. You look at those shoes, do they look like they're worth 800,000, 2,000? No, they're not. Kanye just made people believe they are. That's all you got to do is get slaves to believe that's what it didn't cost that. You're going to naturally create a business. Yes, that's how much money is out there. If somebody can make some shoes and charge you $2,000, that's how much money slaves will spend. That's what they will do. And proudly boast about it. They will get on YouTube. They will tell their friends, look, you everybody, I paid $2,000 for these shoes. No, all you got to do is did you pay cash for those? Anybody that brags to you about paying that much money for some shoes or a belt, you turn to them, did you pay cash for that? And here's the secret. Even if they did, they didn't. Even if they turned to you and said, I paid cash for that, do you have student loans? If they say yes, they didn't pay cash for shit. They charged it. It's financed. Make someone else pay the taxes. This is my good friend, man. I love him very much. When it comes down to business, this is the man you want to see. Don't get me wrong. Straight, no feelings involved. Okay, that's what I like. Straight, direct. Now, anybody got 2 companies questions of me? If you want to stop being a slave, go to my website down there, which my man right here created, by the way. He created my website. So SavingsMinusDebt.com. He helped me create. So if you're looking for some great, you're trying to get a website going, you want a structure, your payment structure, this is the man to do it. Okay. Tell him I sent you. Tell him LJ sent you. Let me shoot. If you want me to give them something, let me know, man. I'll post. Let me know what you want me to post in there. Him and I have been friends since we both worked at Alaska Airlines. I quit in 16. I think he quit. Did you quit about 2 or 3 years before me? I can't remember. I quit in 16. But we have been friends ever since. So I'm trying to help you guys. This is what I'm really trying to do. Okay. This is what I'm really trying to do. I'm trying to help the majority of you guys not being taken advantage of. Like when you see like real financial scams, like real ones, illegal scams, right? Once you get out of debt, you will clearly see financial scams are designed for people in fear that are in debt, because now the MLM, it's hard for slaves to determine if it's real or if it's a scam or if it's not, right? Because it's legal. So it's really difficult. You're like, then if it's a scam, how's, it kind of confuses you, right? But it breaks all the laws of mathematics. But a true scam, a legal scam, they're so obvious. They cannot make mathematical sense, okay? Because it's a scam. It's designed to take money from you. So it cannot make mathematical sense. And if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. It cannot, right? It's almost like a scam. Financial scams look like they're almost designed for children because they're so obvious. Financial scams make absolutely no sense. And usually, this is what you guys got to understand, okay? Usually slaves are behind financial scams, okay? And you got to remember, unconscious slaves. Unconscious slaves are usually behind financial scams. How do I know that? Because money doesn't exist. But if you believe it is, they're going to scam you. But they usually come in at the most desperate times when you're scared. And they use things like the IRS. Hey, we're the IRS. You didn't do your taxes right. We're going to put you in jail. And then slaves just give it up. Oh my God. Because you know why they use that? Because you guys are scared of the IRS. You don't have to be scared of the IRS if you just follow the rules. You don't have to be scared of the IRS. You don't have to be scared of the tax man. If you follow the rules, the tax man will never visit you. The IRS will never contact you if you follow the. Why would they contact you if you're following the rules? Well, they got millions of slaves breaking the financial laws, tax evasion. They are too busy to knock on your door and say, "Hey, man, thank you for following the rules." You think they got enough agents to even? They're after millions of, and unconscious slaves don't trust math. And anyway, unconscious slaves, they do scams. So a scammer, they don't know we can see them because slaves don't trust math, and they don't know they don't trust math, so they don't know how to talk. They're just probably following some other scammer that's telling them how to do it because they just and then they sell to slaves. They know you guys will believe anything because you're desperate, you're scared. These are some rough times right now, for real. These are some rough times. Hey, appreciate that, ranting woman. LJ, my cardiologist gave me a clean bill of health during my examination yesterday. I had heart issues when I was in the matrix. Slave is stress. Oh, stress. Stress is real, man. The keys to what I've determined, the keys to better health, less stress and more rest. Two things slaves cannot do because they're always working and they're stressed because of debt. Ask a slave. All you got to do is ask a slave, how you doing? What they always say, oh man, I'm just stressed. You can't turn to a slave and say, hey, you don't have to be stressed. You do know stress is a choice, right? You don't have to be stressed. What companies do you consider MLM? Oh, I don't know. I would have to look them up. Just Google MLM companies. It's really not difficult to find when there are a whole bunch of them out there. My dad doesn't believe in paying rent for someone. He believes in paying a mortgage and paying for yourself. See, that's the problem with slaves, right? They think if they're paying a person, they're giving away the money. But if they're paying rent to a person, they're giving away money. But if they're paying rent to the bank, which is a mortgage, they're paying rent to bank, they're not, because it's not an entity. The bank is not, you can't say the bank is that person. It's an entity. But I don't know how they that took generations to get people to believe that a mortgage is not rent. Can you imagine how long that must have taken? That has to have taken at least a generation. At least a generation. First you have to make a slave believe that it takes 30 years to pay off a house. That's the first hurdle. And then the second hurdle is making them believe that mortgage is not rent. Then make them believe that the asset that they don't own is theirs. Then make them believe that the equity in a house that they don't own is theirs. You know how long that must have taken? That has to have taken. Well, it had to, because millions of people believe it. Millions of people with mortgages believe they're homeowners. Millions. Oh, appreciate. Oh yeah, I forgot he put that there. Yeah. If you go to my website and email me your link real quick, and I'll just post it in here too. I don't want to make too many steps for them. Do me a favor and email me your link, Ben, so I can just post it in here. I don't want to make too many steps for people. I want to make it as easy as possible to reach you. Okay. Amway, I was involved in college. I think the one I was involved was Amway too. Okay. The girl above me had already farmed the whole school. Yeah. Primerica. I think my sister was in that one. When you get out of debt, all of that stuff, you will just laugh at MLMs. You will. I mean, again, if you take this knowledge that you learn from here, again, because I only advocate legal stuff. Okay, if you choose to do an MLM and it's legal with this knowledge, with the knowledge from SMD, you're not going to get on the side of MLMs that slave. The majority of are slaves. You see how they got that thing where a few people at the top, just like a triangle, a pyramid, whatever you want to call it. See those few people at the top? With this knowledge, you'll be one of them. You'll be one of them. Hey man, this knowledge will change your whole life. You'll be a different person. You'll be a totally different person. Nobody will be able to financially scam you. You'll laugh at, when people try to bring an MLM to you, like, hey, you want me to do what? You have student loans? Yeah, that's why you want me to do that. I get it. You got a mortgage? Yeah. Yeah. I ain't listening to words you're saying. What type of mortgage do you have? I don't know. See, that's why I'm not listening to you. You don't even know what type of mortgage you have. You got PMI? What's that? Oh, shit. Yeah, no. Because you turn to a person with a mortgage that understands, and you turn to them and say, do you have PMI? They'll turn to you and say, hell no, I ain't got no PMI. You think I got a subprime? Are you saying I got a subprime mortgage? No. Subprime mortgages are for slaves. I know this sounds bad. I know it do. But I don't care, slaves. I don't care. I don't care what you think. If you have a subprime mortgage and you're doing an MLM, you're a slave. You have no business doing an MLM. Why? You have a subprime mortgage. Subprime mortgages are designed for slaves. That's why you're doing what you're doing, because you're a slave. How many times you refinance your house? 3, 4 times? Only slaves do that. Did you refinance your house? Pull out some equity so it can get you through these rough times? That's exactly what they wanted you to do, slaves. They wanted you to believe that you could borrow some money. You're going to borrow some money from the bank, and they know you're going to try to maintain your lifestyle with it. They know that, slaves. So what are you going to do with that money? You're going to make your car payments. You're going to borrow the money from the bank's house and give it right back to them at an interest. All because they made you believe that you own the home that you live in, and you don't own shit. You don't own nothing. If this is what you did, you refinanced the house and you got some money, you think because you saw those digital numbers in your account and you're making phone payments and you're making car payments and you're making your credit card payments. That's exactly what they wanted you to do, slave. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. I know. You think slaves tell other slaves that they refinance their house? Hell no, they don't do that. They got to maintain the facade that this economy is not affecting them. Yes, it is, slave. They're clearing the board, baby. They're clearing the board. They're clearing the real estate board for all you fakes and phonies, all you fake and phony slaves. They're clearing the board. You guys are all being removed. All those people that you thought had all these rental properties and doing good, they didn't own shit. They're about to be wiped off. You know what they're going to blame? Oh, the coronavirus. No. No. You've been off the board, slave. They called it Quick Start. I was involved with them. What is Quick Start? Quick Start. Oh, you talking? Which one you talking about? Primerica or the Amway? What exactly is a subprime mortgage? What exactly is it? I'm still having a hard time understanding. Just all you need to know is when you hear it, you don't need to know nothing more than this. It's for slaves. Okay. Don't worry about if you want to read about somebody, you subprime mortgages, you can. But all you need to know, if you don't want to know details about it, just understand every time you hear it, it's for slaves. Okay. That's all you need to know. Now, it's not new, man. I've been bought it a long time ago. Yes, it is. Refi 30-year reset. Slaves don't know. Do you know? Hey, check this out. I know you guys don't believe me. I know you got half the people that refinance their house. They don't know the 30-year clock restarts. They don't even know it. Ask them. Go to somebody that you know they refinance their house, and this is what you say to them. Do you know that the 30 years start all over again? They'd be like, what? What do you mean? You need a wide circle for MLM. There's people that turn 18 every day so you can't run out of recruits. They have $50 a month membership. And again, let's make sure it's clear, man. I am not against MLMs. I'm not. I have no idea how it's legal. I don't know. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. The legal jargon, obviously is legal, but it's like this. I don't know how it's legal to roll the negative equity of a car into a new car loan. I have no idea how that's legal. I have no idea how that's not legal. I mean, how that's legal, excuse me. I have no idea how that's legal, how you can roll negative equity from a car into a new car loan. I have no idea. It's like, what? Yeah. So imagine this. You take $5,000 in equity of negative equity in an old car loan, and you go get a new car and you roll it into a new car loan, which jacks it up. And then once they add that up, and then they do the taxes on the car with the negative equity in the car loan, and then they compile the taxes on that, and then you finance it all at a percentage rate, which is the BO. The BO is the percentage rate, the interest rate. Excuse me, the interest rate. And check this out, if you're financing a car and you rolling negative, they're going to really financially abuse you, rolling negative equity into a financed car, a new car. Woo. Slaves, man. Oh, they do you guys so dirty. Oh, they do you guys so dirty. Whenever I see ads for early payday apps, I think, damn, imagine needing to use that and not waking up. Have you noticed that? Have you seen how many advanced payday apps are out there? Oh, if you need your check before the actual check, before you actually get your check for your get your check from your employer, oh my God, you are in so. Oh man, oh man, you are like, there's different levels of slavery, and if you need an app to get a hold of your, they charging you a fee, giving you your money. Oh, they charging you a fee, giving your money early. They take that out, and then income tax is taken out. Oh my God. Mm, how is that shit legal? I don't even know how payday apps are legal. I have no idea. I'm not saying that I'm against it, not saying it's wrong, because all you got to do is understand that none of that stuff makes any mathematical sense. So that's your fault, slave. If you're using advanced payday app and title loan places, it's your own fault. It's your fault. The True Light says, yeah, the refinance boom has been helping me make 450 plus a day. It's going to dim out towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, and people going to be on the streets. Yeah, maybe. That's some good money, man. I think, compared to whoever you're comparing that to, right? LJ, most people have not been free since they left the womb. You got to learn how to be free in this world. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I know, man. 300%. Oh, man. Slaves, man. The refinance boom. What'd you send me, Andre? What Andre send me? Let's see here. Mm, Look at the title. Mm, mm. Is that a long one? Come on, man. What are you doing? Oh, you want me to sign up? I'm not sign up for nothing. All right, let me do this. I'm already here. I'm already on the roll. Damn you, Andre. Damn you. Damn. All right, I'm gonna show you something Andre sent just to me now. This is just another. Um, that's why MLMs are booming, man. People refinancing their houses, taking that money and going straight to MLMs. Okay, let's do this. Let's see this. Share. What? Share screen. Oh, you can share a video file now. Wow. Okay. You added something. Threw me off for a second there. All right. All right, we're gonna start now. I can't see you guys' comments as I read this, okay? Because I'm only on a single screen, okay? So, all right. So right off the bat, go ahead, homeowners, tap your house for cash. First of all, you're not a homeowner. It's not your house. Okay. They know you're strapped for cash because all you got to do is Google how many people are out of work. Okay. This is why it's attractive to you. Okay. People who can trade their home mortgage for a bigger one, and people who can trade their home mortgage for a bigger one and pocket the difference don't need to agonize about. People who can trade their home mortgage for a bigger one, I'm saying for a bigger mortgage or for a bigger house and pocket. I have no idea what the hell they're saying right there. Not a clue. All right. Cash out refinancing when borrowers. Now I'm gonna read it slow because I gotta translate to what they're saying to you guys, slave, because this article is not talking to me. Okay. The title alone tells me that it's not talking to me. All right. Cash out refinancing when borrowers trade an existing mortgage for a bigger one. Oh, gotcha. For a bigger mortgage one and then pocket the difference. If you trade for a bigger mortgage, what is there to pocket? I don't get that. What do you mean pocket what? You definitely can't pocket a house. So you must be talking about a mortgage. But if you get a bigger mortgage, you ain't pocketing shit. What are you talking about? Reached the highest level last year since 2008 financial crisis. With home prices appreciating during the coronavirus pandemic. Does that make sense? Why would housing prices go up when nobody has any jobs? Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense. It makes sense for people to understand because they're locking you guys into the housing market prices of the day, slaves of today, because you guys don't know a housing market crash is coming. Okay. Reaching the highest level last year since 2008. The 2008 gonna be shit compared to this one. Believe that. With home prices appreciating, blah, blah, blah. It's actually surprising that it isn't happening even more often. It should. I don't know what that means. Many homeowners worry too much about being over leveraged and kicked out of their homes. Many homeowners worry too much about being over leveraged and kicked out of their. Oh yeah, okay. What is that? Is that a problem? As millions were after bursting. Okay, keep going back to that. They keep scaring you guys with the 2007. This is nothing compared to with that one. Don't compare a worldwide listen. Don't compare a worldwide pandemic to a housing market crash in 2008. Don't compare those two. There is no comparison. Okay. Were people taking shots and dying because of the housing market crash back in No, don't compare those two. Many borrowers say they prefer to get a personal loan at a higher rate than have one tied to their homes. Many borrowers, they mean many slaves say they prefer to get a personal loan at a higher rate than have one tied to their homes. That makes absolutely no sense. None, zero. Because you guys think you have a home to tie something to. You can't tie anything to a home you don't own. You don't own the home. Stop calling it yours, slaves. But the reality is that using a home to get cash carries much lower risks now than during the run up. The banks are writing this shit. I want you guys to understand. The banks are writing this. To begin with, consider the economic environment. U.S. home equity, the difference between that value of home, blah, 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 totaled more than $22 trillion. They always like to throw big numbers out there. So you guys it means more. Hold on for a second. All right, I'm back. All right, 1 second here. All right, let's get back to here for a second. I got to finish reading this article. This is, Andre, I was giving me juicy stuff. All right, let's go here. Now, when they start throwing numbers out there, I'm going to skip over all that because if you're in debt and you don't know how much debt you're in, don't worry about any of those numbers, okay? They mean nothing to you. That anything the government's doing and the economy's doing, if you don't know how much debt you're in, don't worry about those numbers because they don't mean it. You don't understand any of that, and they know that. That's why they throw that in there. Home prices have continued to surge, and it's reasonable to expect the housing supply shortage to keep values from collapsing. Okay, so they're tricking them to say there's a housing shortage. So you guys will believe that houses are running out. So to make you guys go into a frenzy. Okay. Another notable difference, Americans were saving about 13% of their income at the end of last year compared to the 3% in 2007. That's not true. Slaves, you guys have no money to save. So you're not saving anything. Okay. 13%, 3%. You guys don't even understand percentages. That's why they put percentages in there. You guys don't even know what percentages mean. Okay. For many borrowers, a home is no longer their only major asset. If you have a mortgage, a house is not an asset for you. It's only an asset for the bank. Okay. Many borrowers have, okay, their only major asset. Okay. And there are important protections in place against borrowing too much, such as 80% loan to value ratios, meaning a loan can't exceed 8%, blah, and more rigorous documentation requirements to prevent lenders from saddling customers with more debt than they can afford to repay. Well, they don't do that for you, slaves. Okay. Don't think that they're not protecting you. Okay. Because you don't know nothing. Okay. So they're not really protecting. It just looks like that. It's not. Okay. They're not. What they're saying is that we're not taking the whole 100% risk. You guys are gonna have to pay something. Okay. We've taken 80% of the damn risk. You guys are gonna have to take some type of risk, because slaves think they can get something for nothing. All right. Because you guys be bragging, oh, I didn't have to put nothing down. That's a bad thing, slave. Okay. A study of lending in Texas, where the loan to value ratio was 80% even before 2008, shows that homeowners had lower rates of default. Oh, all that bullshit. All right. Data so far on borrowing doing cash out refis also indicates that there's nothing alarming going on. Homeowners are cashing out lower amounts and paying less to do so. At the end of last year, borrowers extracted only about, see, there they go with percentage. That don't mean anything to you, slaves, okay? Because it's not your house. All you got to do is this. Open your calculator up. Open up your calculator app, so you slaves that are just jumping in, so you can understand it, so you'll believe me, okay? Open your calculator app. Put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance. I want you to do this now as I read this article, so you guys can see what I see. Put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. That's your equity. That's how much money you can pull out of your house when you do a refi. That's how much money you get to pull out. Okay, you got it? Hit equal. Okay, now we're going to read through this article with that number in your calculator. All right. Data so far on borrowers doing cash out refis also indicates that there's nothing alarming going on. According to your calculator, does that look alarming? It is alarming. Okay. Homeowners are cashing out lower amounts, paying less to do so. Cashing out what? You're in the negative. You ain't cashing out shit. What are you talking about? What is this article talking about? It's talking to slaves. Okay. At the end of last year, borrowers extracted only this percentage of their home equity compared to more blah, blah, blah in 2006. There they go, comparing a worldwide, never seen before virus with a housing market crash. There's no comparison. While there isn't any update to information about what borrowers are doing with their funds, I know what they're doing. They're giving it back to you guys, bank. Anecdotally, it appears that most are focusing on home renovation. Why in the fuck did I get a job? Why did I ever, and I believe that crap. Go to college, get a job. Slaves are giving away money right here. Focusing on home renovation. They're borrowing money, fixing up the bank's house and repairing it, paying back, giving the bank back money through credit cards, paying off their credit cards and debt, giving all the money back to the bank. In the mid 2000s, by contrast, many homeowners were using cash out refis for speculative activities like flipping houses. All back to the bank. So if you need cash, go ahead and refinance your mortgage. The banks are writing this for sure. A few things to keep in mind, though. Be sure to read the disclosures, which you're not. You're not going to, slaves, you're not going to read. You think you're going to read. They know you're not going to read that thick stack of papers in front of you. You're not. Okay. You're not. Which are clearer than they used to be. Whatever that means. I don't know what that means. So all of the fees, they vary by state, and closing costs associated with refinancing. When borrowers do cash out and refi, they are effectively taking out a new mortgage and beginning the life of the loan again. Now, weigh the interest you'll pay during the additional years against the lower rate, which you guys will never do. You don't even know how much debt you're in. There is no way you can do that math. There is no way you know how to do that math. And you won't. They know you won't. If you walk, check this out. If your student loans are older than your current mortgage, and then you go back into the bank and do a refi and you still have the student loans, they're going to financially abuse you. Do you understand? Okay. For some people, a home equity line of credit may carry lower costs than a cash out refi, though the former generally comes with an adjustable rate. Many banks remain wary of extending home equity lines of credit, saving them for borrowers with high incomes or rarefied credit scores. They save those loans for high valued slaves. Okay. People with higher credit scores, they think they're special. No, they just save special loans for you and make it seem like it's special. Remember too, that if you're deferring mortgage payments under the terms of a pandemic relief law passed by Congress last year, which is millions of you, they're talking to millions of you. They know they're talking to you. Okay. Ooh, you can't refinance because they already have you. If you deferred your payments, they're not going to refinance you because they already have you. They know that home is coming back to them because they know you're never going to catch up with those payments. They know that. Why would they give you more money when they know you're not going to be able to pay it back? That house, first, the home is already there, so they didn't lose anything. You're just going to be out of it soon. That's all. Interest rates are starting to increase. Of course, they're starting to increase. The housing market crash is coming. They got to slow it down, man. But they're still low by historic standards. There are plenty of borrowers with mortgage rates above 4% who have worthwhile uses for the cash and would benefit from refinancing. If you're one of them, don't let unwarranted concern keep you on this. Oh, slaves, man. Boy, they do you guys so dirty. Ooh, they do you guys so dirty. Mm. 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 You're about to pay the whole year of oh, cool. You about to do that. Good job, man. Right now I pay $50 thanks for the recommendation, Uncle LJ. That's one of, what time is it? Okay. That's one of the bill knocked out of, hey man. And not only by paying about a year, not only is it a bill knocked off, that's another thing that you don't have to think about that frees up your mind. A lot of people don't really understand that. MLM collecting stamp. Oh God. Can you imagine the numbers for MLMs right now? They're going through the cryptocurrency because since the checks are out, MLMs are getting a lot of money. Cryptocurrency is getting a lot of money, and all the other scam stuff are getting a lot of money. Sure is. The person's on the way. Xavier says, recently met a young lady who was displaced by a hurricane in 2005. She have been renting 3 storage units to store furniture and paying $330 a month to do so since 2005. I always keep telling everybody, why do you think storage facilities are going up like hotcakes? Are you paying attention to your neighborhood? Look in your city, look in your area and say, why are these storage facilities coming up? They are preparing for the housing market crash. Do you understand, people? They're going up like hotcakes. Storage facilities, cool, non-cool, air conditioned, walk in, drive in. I mean, they're getting fancy with these storage facilities too. They're not like the old school ones, like the U-Haul ones where you roll up the door. Oh man, that's old school right there. They're getting fancy. They're gonna charge a premium, baby. Audra says, this is what happens when you're debt free. Shit don't make sense. It don't make sense. What you guys don't understand, when it don't make sense, that's a red flag. You look, you're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense. So I always focus in the things that don't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And then I look at it a little harder. Then I go, oh, that's why it doesn't make sense. Actually going on the $90 every 3 months, everything unlimited. I use this smartphone to okay, cool. That's smart, man. I'm glad I was able to help with that, man. See, slaves can't do that. Slaves don't know the how the monthly phone bills and paying all those taxes, they don't even exist anymore. So you think you guys don't know that slaves. A slave will open the phone if they open the phone bill at all, but a slave will look at that and they'll see all those taxes on that phone bill and be like, damn, that's a lot of taxes. Yeah, that's for you guys, slave. Those taxes been over for years. Years. You guys will sign up for a plan and they tell you how much this plan is going to be, but each time you get your phone bill, it's never that amount. You ever isn't that weird? You sign up for a phone plan. They say this is how much you're going to be paying for a month, but when you get your phone bill, it's never that amount, but yet you just continue to pay it. Only slaves would do that. If I was promised that my phone bill would be this, and then every month I get it, and it's not that, I would say I cancel that because you guys lied to me. Mathematical illusion. Based on the market. Q says the banks rubbing their hands like Birdman. Show is. They're like, whoo, you want a loan? Hey, yeah, man, rates are just off the, hey, man, they never, this is the whole, whole housing market rates are never going to be this cheap again. They say the same shit over and over again. And then all of a sudden the slaves get up in the frenzy and they're like, hey, let's run your credit report. Hey, when they run the credit report, our student loans that we haven't been paying for years is not going to show up. So we should be approved. Yes, you will, slaves. You think when the banks run your credit report, they don't know that you have student loans? They have a different area that they run credit, not the one you see. They got a different one that you're never going to see. You're never going to see that one. They know everything about you. They know your student loans are coming back. You just don't know they're coming back. Storage are high true. When you look them up, you see the rates going higher and higher. Oh yeah, they're going to go through the roof, baby. They're going to go through the roof. Storage facilities. I don't know if storage facilities are publicly traded, but I strongly advise to get in there. Because when the housing market crash comes, slaves will need to store their stuff because they're not going to want to let it go. They barely want to let go of that house. They're not going to want to let go of all the stuff that got them there. The reason why the stuff that they're putting in storage facilities, they don't realize the stuff they're putting in storage facilities is why they're putting the stuff in storage facilities, because of that stuff. They don't realize if they didn't finance that stuff, they wouldn't be at a storage facility. Oh yeah. Crazy, huh? Automatically. Nick says they have a dashboard you don't see. They sure do. They have a dashboard you guys don't see. You guys don't even know you're slaves, okay? They don't have to hide this dashboard. I want you to understand it's not a secret. They don't know something that you shouldn't be knowing already, okay? They just know it and you don't. You can know it. It's not a secret. They're not hiding anything. They're not, hey, we got this big secret facility and you can't know this. You're supposed to know your own money. Storage facilities, baby. Storage facilities. All you gotta do is pay attention. Hey, why is that storage facility going up here? They knocked down that building and put up a 3 storage. I mean, these storage facilities are like stories high now. 3, 4 stories, walk in, drive in. It's like, God damn. This was before I realized the housing market crash was coming. They're getting ready. They're getting some of that money. Slaves, man. Oh, but we need slaves. Without you, there could be no us. I want you to understand that. Without you, there could be no us. I could not be free if it wasn't for you. So if you believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage, you just believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage, whatever. If you want to add the equity, if you want to add the equity of a house into your the equity of a house that you don't own into your portfolio, I guess you just do, slave. I don't care. Oh man, my house has $200,000 in equity. You own it? Yeah, no, then it's not your equity. It's not yours. Because imagine this. Imagine being a slave, right? That has, say, like they have about $200,000 in equity in their house because they've been paying on it for the last 30 years, right? But they're in debt, and then they lose their job, and then they can't pay the mortgage. I got to hurry up and sell. But what if they wait? What if they wait till the crash? Because a lot of slaves are going to do it. They don't know the crash is coming. So they believe they have 200,000 in equity right now. They think they're good. And then when the crash happens, they're going to find out they have nothing. So all those years that they believe they had money, that they probably been adding that equity into their portfolio, then they're going to realize they don't have nothing. The same way they add their retirement accounts into their portfolio, and then when the stock market crashes, they see it disappear. What happened to your portfolio? It never existed, slave. That's why it's disappearing. If you had $200,000 in your bank account, in your savings account, and the stock market crashed, you're going to still have $200,000 in your savings account. Do you understand? It's yours. Let me post that in here. I don't know if I did that yet. Did I do that? What's your email? Oh, you sent it to my regular email. Okay. All right. You want to get a hold of my friend Ben here, the mind. What is your name there? Gut, Mind, Heart. And here I'm gonna post you his link to his website. This is the guy that did my website. Good friend of mine. Okay. Oops. Even Elon Tool, a while to wait. Oh, took a while to wake up. He got rid of his mortgage. Yeah, he moved out of yeah, but Elon's doing it way different. That's not even a comparison, really. I'm sure Elon's renting from himself. I've seen people leaving apartments and moving to hotels. You better believe it. It's gonna be. You guys think it's gonna be bad for slaves because you guys don't see it coming. I told my dad, I'm 30. I don't want to pay a house until I'm 60 to pay it off. He said, at least it's paid off. Why would you be 60 renting and paying someone else? See, they say things that make absolutely no sense. If you're 30 right now, see, slaves don't really understand that. If you're 30 right now, are you really saying that you're gonna first of all, you're gonna be at the job for 30 years. You're gonna live in this exact house at 30. You're gonna live in this exact house for 30 years, for the next 30 years of your life, and you're gonna pay on it for the next 30 years. That makes absolutely no sense. None, zero. Only slaves say things like that, especially out loud. Ask a person. This is all you got to do. Anybody giving you information, say, you a homeowner? They say yes. You say, do you have a mortgage? If they say yes, right there, that's strike one. They think they're a homeowner with a mortgage. That's somebody that you shouldn't be taking financial advice from. Somebody that thinks they're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage. Okay. Second of all, you say, how long you been paying on this house? How long you been paying on this house? Some people have been paying on their house for over 30 years. And all that time, they think they're a homeowner. 20 years is bad enough. If you're paying on a house for 20 years, that's bad. 15 years, it takes you, because this is all the person has to do. You go, say like somebody makes 6 figures, 100,000. We're gonna, not including tax, we're gonna make nice round numbers. And they finance a $300,000 house, right? And they make $100,000 a year. Okay. And then you say, how long you been financing this house? 6 years? If you make $100,000 a year You should have been had that house paid off. If you just run the math, they say, well, 100,000 times 20, and then they add that up, and you're like, but the house is only 300,000, and you make 100. You mean you could have had it paid off in 5? Yeah, you could have had it paid off in 5 years, but you kept it for 20. Makes no sense. Yes, for sure. Believe that. Yeah, it's a tool. Man, that's what and it's like what you always say, Andre. The goal is to personally own nothing. You know how much risk you eliminate from your personal finance life when your goal is to personally own nothing? Hmm. He's saying someone else can stay in it and pay. That's what they always say. Somebody else is going to pay my rent for me. Whatever. The bank doesn't care who you get to pay for as long as the check's coming, okay? Whatever you believe. They're not paying it for you. They're just paying the bank want their money. Sure is. Mortgage is anchor to your job. Can you imagine when you come to work and you're talking about you just bought a house, which is financing a house? Can you imagine what that says to your employer? You ain't going anywhere no time soon. So like you get a job, a year or two later you get married, and then you finance a house, and then a couple years after that, just like the program, and then you have a couple kids. You're not going anywhere, slave. Anywhere. They know they have you. They're going to give you an electronic leash. They're going to hand you a phone, and then that's going to be your electronic leash. They're going to own you. Update: the same lady who rented the storage units for the last 15 years recently cleaned out all 3 of them and sold the items inside for just for $1,100. After paying almost $50 in oh, slaves. One of my cousins gets mad when I tell him, man, you're a big time slave. You're a big time slave leasing Honda Accord and paying mortgage and putting 75-inch screens, TVs on layaway. Ooh. And you only can say that because he's your cousin. All right. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Hotels are more expensive, but if you've been evicted and no first and last security, then I don't know. All right. I'm going to put this up here, man, because we're going to cut this off soon because I could be babbling forever. But if you have a question and you're new to the channel and you're tired of being a slave, this is where you change that. Okay. If you want to speak to people well beyond me, space aliens, I create the foundation for you before they will even speak to you. Okay. We got a Discord server that other SMD family members reside, and they help people, and we encourage people over there. I strongly suggest you join the Discord server if you want to have more additional talks and you want to meet more other SMD family members. I strongly suggest you join the Discord server. Strongly suggested. Okay. We don't be over there yip yapping all the time, but if you got a legitimate question or what to do next, where to go once you're debt free, they have the answers. Okay. I'm just the foundation creator. I will pound it in your head that you're a slave. Okay. Once you understand, because you'll see most of these people in here that are conscious slaves, there's 2 kinds of slaves: an unconscious slave and a conscious slave. The people in here that are conscious slaves, they will tell you they're conscious slaves. It's only weird to slaves when a conscious slave call themselves a slave. It's only weird to a slave. And if they come in here and call themselves a conscious slave, right? and you say something, maybe you don't even have to comment. You say it to yourself. Oh, why are they calling you're a slave? If they hear you say that, if you even say you talk negative to a conscious slave and say why they're gonna know you're a slave by thinking that's a derogatory thing. It's not derogatory. It's not bad. You will be there when owning nothing. You will be there when own nothing. You will be there when own nothing and higher income pisses you. That is. I can't wait till that day comes. God damn, all this money. What am I gonna do with it? Oh man, it's just money after. Oh man, I'm gonna just sleep on it tonight. Thanks, Andre. Appreciate it. All right, Ben. Have a good one, sir. I hope some people come over there and acquire your services. I promise you, you go over there, you will get exactly what you're asking for on time, professional, everything. Okay, I promise you that. See, conscious slave here. I know Ben knows for sure. When him and I get on the phone and have talks, he's like, shut up. I don't want to hear that part. Okay, whatever, conscious slave. Okay. You know? Oh, man, technology is great. Equalizers. Technology is the great equalizer. Slaves don't know that they can create an Instagram account with an add to cart button. We can sell anything starting online business. You can sell anything. But to me, when you go sell, the first, a lot of slaves go out, they create a business and they immediately go out and selling and think they're going to immediately make money. This is what I've learned being out here. Especially in my business, I have to earn people's trust. Right. It's not just, hey, I'm selling this, give me your money. People got to earn. There's so many scammers out there. They got to filter through all the people that's trying to rip them off, that's trying to scam them. They got to, how do you do that? By earning their trust. When people come here, if they acquire my services or they want me, they buy something, they need me to do something for them. They know they're going to get what they're asking of me. You're going to get it, and you're going to get it professionally in a timely manner. It's right. A client right at the top of my list. Boom. All right, we're going to do this. This is what you need to do. It goes back and forth. I do my part. You give me information. I'll let it sit over there until they give me the information. Totally up to you. You give it back to me. I'm on it. What's up, Omanike? Sorry, so people keep texting. Man, why? Every time I don't have it up there, I don't. Nobody texts me and say, "Hey, man, what's your CashApp?" And then I put it up there. It's the opposite. It just takes up so much room to me. I guess I don't know. Anyway, any questions? Any questions? As you guys can see, I love what I do. I love helping people. I love the stories. It's very humbling. I love the stories of change. I'm changing people's lives and I don't even know. And they're not buying any of my services. They're just watching my videos. No different than what I did. I'm debt free because of Dave Ramsey, of what he's achieved. I didn't buy any of his books or his services or anything. I didn't need any of that. Okay. Maybe because I was already a computer engineer and I already counted in ones and zeros. I kind of put two and two together and said, damn, that's true. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. Yes. And that's all I did. And I just got out of debt and I'm free. That's it. I didn't need any. I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying if you need it, go ahead and do it by the books. Watch his videos. I mean, I watched a lot of his videos. Don't get me wrong. But I loved hearing. I love hearing the people from all walks of life, professionals to blue collar workers to white collar workers. It didn't, and I've learned from all the videos I watched. It didn't matter the job. Everyone, all of them were in debt. Savings minus business, right? you gotta little by little gain potential customers, trust, no rushing. What I do, I 100% have to earn a person's trust. Do you know, I tell you that the last few clients I've had, I swear to you, they said, I always ask, how long you been watching me? A year and a half, 2 years? And you're just now reaching out to me. He's like, he or she's like, yeah, I just figured now is the time. I was like, damn, you've been watching me a year. And a lot of them, they watch that long to see if I'm fake, if I'm phony, if I'm going to waver from if I'm talking about one thing and then 6 months later I'm talking about another thing. Math is never going to change, ever. Math never changes. Doesn't matter 2020. When 2025 comes, 1 plus 1 still going to equal 2. When 2030 comes, 1 plus 1 is still going to equal 2. When 2040 comes, 1 plus 1 is still going to equal 2. Doesn't matter. What's up, Yellow J? I can't wait to have you. This dude right here, this SMD family member, I cannot wait to have him on the show. His story is beyond. Half of you guys wouldn't even believe it. You're probably thinking, oh, he's crazy. Nobody's going to do that. That's nonsense and blah, blah, blah. What's up, man, Yellow J? With daylight savings time, you are now 6 hours ahead. Wow, 6 hours ahead. That's right. Hawaii doesn't change, does it? That's crazy. I think. Am I guessing on that? There is no daylight saving times in Hawaii? Or am I wrong? I'm not sure. Or is that why it's 6 hours? Let's see. I'm gonna put the Discord server in here. I just want to make things a little bit easier for people. This is how you join the Discord server. Okay. I strongly suggest you do. And like I said, it's not going to be a lot of talking in there, but if you go in there and ask a question, there are going to be SMD family members that are going to answer your question. You guys see me talking on the mic. I don't really talk that much in the Discord server. Okay. I go in there, watch, listen, unless somebody's talking directly to me, I'll respond, but sometimes I'll post in there and, respond to other people and blah, blah, blah. But I mostly do my talking here. Okay. Seattle Sideshow says, my cousin is in real estate. He's a real estate agent. And he said he disagreed with your outlook on FHA loans. He said 80% of Americans wouldn't own a home if everyone went to conventional. He's obviously a slave. All slaves say that. 80% of Americans wouldn't own a home. First of all, number one, a mortgage doesn't make anybody own a home, let alone an FHA mortgage. No mortgage in the United States of America makes anybody a homeowner. Let's get that established. There's only one way to buy a home. That's with cash. You buy it. Here, bank. Here, whoever owns the house. Here's the money for the house. I own it. That's called buy. See, slaves always mix up the word buy. Buy doesn't mean finance. FHA mortgages is what's called financing. And he is right. If the banks denied mortgages to slaves, the housing market wouldn't exist because it couldn't exist without slaves. So if a slave believes that they're a homeowner with a subprime mortgage, that's a must. We need 80% of Americans believing that they're homeowners with FHA mortgages. It wouldn't exist. Thank you, slaves. Thank you. And I noticed, see how this person said, now, again, in his defense, if he knew he was a slave, he would never say a statement like that out loud and to anybody. You would never tell anybody that, hey, man, I disagree with the outlook on FHA mortgages. That's why I just tune them out. Boop. If I was out in public and somebody started out with that statement, I would just turn them out. I would start looking at the birds and thinking, oh, he's about to start slave-splaining. Oh, okay, tell me, slave, why do you think FHA mortgages are good? And then they'll start running through the things. And they're just like, dude, that Charlie Brown teacher voice, wah, 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 wah. I just go, And I'd be thinking, oh, slave, I bet you tell all your friends, your clients that. I'm sure you do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody has FHA mortgages. And you know what slaves say? Really? Everybody has? They're just not telling you. No, only slaves do, though. If everyone went, 80% of Americans. The Seattle Sideshow, this is what I want you to tell your cousin. Stop saying that stuff like that out loud. Don't ever say that to anybody. Ever. Don't ever say that to anybody in public. Ever. Don't do that. Please don't tell them. Don't ever say FHA mortgages are good. Don't ever say that ever. Oh, God, here comes the color. He also said black people, slaves, people especially wouldn't own homes, and the PMI or MIP, PMI or MIP is worth it. Is worth it if you can ultimately own your home in the long run. A couple of extra $100 a month should. Oh my God. This is what it sounds like when people enter color. If I said 1 + 1 = 2, and then somebody comes and says, "Oh, LJ only knows it's 2 because he's black." 5 + 5 = 10. Oh, LJ, you only know that because you're black. That's how it sounds when people make statements like that. It sounds so stupid. Oh, slave, stop doing that. Slave, stop. Oh, you think giving PMI and MIP it's okay to give your money away? Only slaves think it's okay to give their money away for an object. If you have an FHA mortgage, you're never going to own the home. I guarantee you this, okay? And if you're listening, I want you to listen closely. I guarantee you, if you have an FHA mortgage, I guarantee you have student loans that are older than their FHA mortgage, guaranteed. And I want you to think about that. Take your feelings out of it and say, damn, my student loan is older than my FHA mortgage. You know why? Because it's designed for you. It's FHA mortgages are designed with people that have student loans older than their FHA mortgage. If you walk in the bank asking the bank for money and you haven't even paid back your student loans, they're going to financially abuse you. Do you understand? FHA mortgages are for slaves. Those are for slaves that absolutely refuse to refuse to understand that there's only one way to buy a home. If you don't know the definition of buy, you're a slave. Do you understand? You don't know that you have no money because you have student loans. What do you think? You think you're going to buy a house and you haven't even paid back your student loans? Come on, slave, stop it. You're probably doing an MLM on top of that, huh? Right? You're going to do that too? Oh, slaves, man. Slave. What's up, Antoine? Something you don't have to pay is worth paying. I know. Something you don't have to pay is worth paying it. See, that don't even make any sense. You don't have to listen, slaves. You don't have to have a mortgage. That's not true. You don't have to have a mortgage. That's not true. You don't have to have car payments. That's not true. But I don't want to seem disrespectful and tell him otherwise because he did a lot for me, but I don't know how to awaken him. Also, his whole business relies on FHA mortgage. You don't say nothing. You have to accept that your cousin's a slave, period. Don't try to change him. Don't try to say, hey, that's not true. We need your cousin. Listen. We need him to truly believe in FHA mortgages. That's the only way he's going to be able to sell it to other slaves. With that, you guys really need to hear what I'm saying. Without slaves, the housing market could not exist. It couldn't exist if slaves didn't believe they're homeowners with 30-year subprime mortgages. It couldn't exist. So you just have to stop, Seattle. You have to stop. You have to just, hey, congratulations. Oh, wow, you sold how many homes? Okay, cool, shit, whatever. This is what you ask your cousin. Hey, is that phone? Did you finance that phone in your hand? I guarantee you, he says yes. Guarantee right off the bat. Guarantee you got. He's probably got the latest iPhone and or phone. I'm just say phone, and he's making payments on it. Just look at 2008. How did all those people lose their homes? It wasn't. It wasn't there. That's how. Man. And when you go to other financial channels and you see these channels comparing 2020 to 2008, you need to stop listening to them because they're comparing a worldwide killer virus to a housing crash. You got to, when somebody makes that comparison, you got to say like this: are you comparing a worldwide economic crash killer virus to 2008? There's no comparison. No, there's not. You know why they're talking like that? You know why they're making the comparison? Because the effects of 2020 haven't happened yet. That's why they're making the comparison now before it happens, because when it happens, you won't even think about 2008. You won't even, there's nothing, there will be nothing to compare at all. That color and race bait is over the top. Slave splaining. This slave splaining. Oh, you know, when I post some things up on my Facebook, I'll get some people in there every now and then talking about, oh man, you're just keeping the black people down and all this. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Color? Oh, because I'm black. What does 1 + 1 = 2 have to do with me being black? Nothing. Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. We need the whole slave organization. Without them, all this stuff would crash. Oh yeah, Sals. We need them. You guys, slaves, you guys really don't understand how important you are. Your opinion doesn't matter. Like how the system functions, your opinion of the system, the financial system, doesn't matter. If you believe it has something to do with color, race, the politics, or who's ever in office, or who's your mayor, that's your problem. If you believe that, that's your problem. I can't believe your cousin is. I mean, he is saying that out loud too. Just telling you, well, if it wasn't for FHA mortgages, 80% of people wouldn't have homes. So what does FHA mortgages have to do with people owning homes? Nothing. A mortgage and they always say the same thing. Oh, eventually you'll own something. Is that what you think, slave? Okay, well, eventually you're gonna pay off your student loan debt, right? When are you gonna pay off your student loan debt? Eventually, you will own the home at the same time you pay off your student loan debt. So, what is the date that you're gonna pay off your student loan? They won't have a date for you. You think, and this is all you got to do. Okay, you guys think I'm joking? Anybody suggesting that you get a home and they have one, you ask them, do they have student loan debt? They're gonna say yes. You turn to them and say, hey man, when are you gonna pay that off? They won't have a date. If they don't have a date that when they're gonna pay off their student loan debt, they cannot have a date of when they're going to pay off the house. That's impossible. According to the laws of mathematics, you cannot buy a home with student loan debt. You can't. So if you can't even buy a home with student loan debt, you're never going to pay off a student loan, especially you're never going to pay off a mortgage, especially a subprime mortgage. You are the only one that doesn't know that. You're not going to eventually own nothing. No, you're not. You're going to be a slave until you're dead. That's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be a slave until you are dead. Dead. Black families don't have tens of thousands of dollars down for conventional loan. Black families need FHA. Pretty much what that's exactly what he's saying. Black families don't have money to put down. What's that got to do with anything? What's no money being put down? If you ain't got no money, it doesn't matter what color you are. You ain't got no money to put down on the house. It got nothing to do with black people. If you have no money, first of all, if you can't buy, the only way to buy a house is cash. If you don't even have the money to put down on a house, that means you're not buying it. You're getting a loan. It doesn't. I hate the way they do our people too. They put us in this category. Actually, it just pissed me off. You know, I don't talk about color, but I'm still black. I wish more black people would listen to me. I could change the game, change the whole game. All you gotta do is just listen. Just listen. All you got, trust mathematics, and the whole game will change. This is the real test they need to do. If you guys, this is all you got to do. All you got to do is find out which race trusts mathematics the most. That's all you got to do. Send out a simple test like do like this. You send out a simple test like this. I posted this on the community. You just inherited $80,000, but you have $100,000 in student loan debt. What would you do? And then you send that simple mathematical whatever to each race and see how each race answers the question. Now, according to the laws of mathematics, 80,000 minus 100,000 is negative 20,000. You can't do anything but pay off the debt because you're still negative 20,000. That is the only answer. There is no other answer outside of that. It's negative 20. You still got negative $20,000 to go. You still ain't done. But send that question to many races and see how which race answers that. See which race will come back saying negative 20,000. I can't do anything. Put that question on your social media. See how many people come back with, hey, I would take this, I would invest in that, get the interest back. You can't do anything. You can't do anything with negative $20,000. That's impossible. You can't do anything. But see how many people come back with an answer other than negative 20,000, and see which race comes back with the right answer. Then you'll have your answer. Eventually is not a date for sure. In 2007, my old house was worth $899,000 market value. My old house, okay. I refinished the basement for $120,000, and it was worth then over $1 million, worth almost $1 million. In 2008, the crash dropped it to half. Get ready. Oh, it's gonna be worse than that, Yellow J. It's gonna be worse than that. Not for the people that are ready for it. Ooh, Andre and his friends and Cosmic Wisdom, they are licking their chops right now. Me too, man. Because that's going to be pretty much right now. I'm 51. Right now, when it happens, that's going to be the best time for me to buy a house in cash, because all you slaves are going to get kicked out. All you guys are going to get kicked out. You think the bank wants a whole bunch of empty houses? They don't want all that. That's just crap. Some slaves have a hard time escaping. Well, they got to first know they're in the matrix. Most slaves don't know they're in the matrix. Okay. When I sold it in 2020, it was still only recovered $719,000. That was in hot DC, suburban Virginia subdivision. Okay, subdivision. If you don't want this to be, you, okay, right there, scroll on the bottom right there. There you go, right there. See. Right there. I can help free you. You don't have to be a slave anymore. If you have a subprime mortgage, I strongly suggest right now is the time to sell. If you could sell your house and break even or a little bit of profit, sell. If you have a subprime mortgage, sell. Slaves are in a frenzy right now. They have no idea what's coming. But I'm telling you right now, you do. I'm telling you. If you don't get out, right now is the time to get out of your subprime mortgage. Right now. Right now. Because if you wait for the crash, you're never going to get out of it. Ever. You know how you're going to get out of it? You're going to lose everything. Everything. You're not going to get any money. They're going to let you go. They're not going to come after you for the money because they already got it from you. Right now is the time. Right now is the time to get out. Sell. It's not a buying market right now. It's a selling market. I know it looks like a buying because you're seeing all your friends on social media doing it. You know how many people I see on social media that I know have student loans and they bought a house? All you got to do is read the comments. Congratulations, congratulations, no, it's not congratulations. No, it's not. No, it's not. You know how many people are giving out financial advice with $100,000, $200,000 of student loan debt, and then they're showing a picture of them standing next to a Mercedes Benz and all this. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, slaves, slaves. Mm. You know, you go to social media pages, man, you see financial channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You think people go immediately look at somebody's subscribers and think it means nothing. It don't mean nothing, slaves. It mean nothing. Why do you think I turned my subscriber account on? I want to eliminate all of the obstacles from you guys seeing. Knowing all that and no one understands still why I sold. Still, ain't that crazy? I didn't want to get trapped there again. 19 years was long. Hey, man. And you got, look how, hey, Yellow J, look how the universe timed that. Look how the universe timed that. Because you sold it, got the money for your house, everything got out. You know the crash is coming. There is no way you would have got that money for your house in another year or two. I don't know exactly when it's going to crash, but it's coming. The house can't pay for itself, so the slave is the asset. You guys are the asset. The house is not an asset, because the reason why you're the asset, this is what makes you guys the asset, slaves. A mortgage. You believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage. You are the asset. If you're going around calling yourself a homeowner with a mortgage, you are the asset. The stock market you guys see, that you see on TV, you're the stock. It's you. Oh, you see companies? Without you, there couldn't be no companies. They couldn't exist without you, slaves. You think Amazon and Apple can make the money they make without you financing shit? No, they wouldn't be billionaires without you. You guys are slaves. You guys have no money. Zero. You're thinking, how are they buying all that stuff on Amazon and buying phones? They're financing it. They're borrowing the money to buy that stuff. That's how they do it. You guys are the stock. And not only, check this out, not only are you guys the stock, you even put more money into stock by buying their stock. You're buying yourself. So when you see Apple stock, let me see, what is Amazon stock at right now? Let me see Amazon stock. $3,074. I'm gonna just say 3,000. Okay, $3,075, whatever, right? You see that and you're like, oh man, I could have bought it. Buy it now, slave. Whatever. Not only are you spending at Amazon, you're buying this. You just, oh man, what are we doing, man? What, every time I see stuff like that and I can see it the way it really works, I'm like, why did I ever get a job? Because I was programmed to do. When you own the time in your life, you realize you don't have to work like that. You don't have to work 40 hours a week. The first thing you'll say, who came up with that? 40 hours a week. People that have money. They just made up a number, 40 hours a week, the standard, period. And then you guys fall for it. Saturday and Sunday are weekends. Okay, whatever. Lunchtime is between 11 and 1. All right. Slaves never question anything. They just go, okay, all right, well, that's the time. Okay. You get 2 15-minute breaks, one in the afternoon and one in the morning. The slave goes, oh, okay, whatever. They do. They be slave splaining, man. Slave splaining. Slave splaining. That is why I tell people they only have a value at the moment of the transaction. I remember when I read that statement by Andre, I remember sitting at the table, sitting down, signing this thick stack of mortgage papers. I didn't know shit was in there, nothing. And while the person's across the desk waiting for me to sign it, there is no way I could read all of that paperwork. There's no way I could read all that paperwork. What, in 10, 15 minutes? So I'd sign here, initiate here, sign here. And I just remember, I remember I had this feeling deep down in my stomach that something wasn't right. Right? I just would look at all these numbers and all this stuff in this paperwork. I didn't know what any of it meant. All my goal was just to get the keys so I can tell all my friends that I'm a homeowner just like them. And I remember getting approved. I didn't have no money. I remember getting approved and finally getting moved in and got my furniture, all the stuff I needed. And I remember being in it. And I remember thinking, this doesn't feel like the way people on social media made it feel like, right? It just, like, when you see other people getting in a house and you see them park nice cars outside, you're like, ooh, I want that. And then when you're signed under contract with owing all that money, and then you got car payments on top of it, you say to yourself, well, this doesn't feel better than rent. I know people say I throw away money on rent, but now every time something breaks, I got to pay for it. But before, I just called the landlord to fix it. Exactly, slave. The slaves tricked me. I couldn't put my finger on to why I didn't feel this new home ownership feeling, because I wasn't a homeowner. It felt worse because it was worse. I was deep in debt. And my student loans were older than my mortgage. Sure were. I was never going to own that home. I didn't have any money. They just see you coming too. And I'm not saying the person behind the other side of the desk at the bank or wherever you're getting a loan from, I'm not saying that they are purposely doing something to you, because 9 times out of 10, the person that you're working with, the real estate agent, the whatever, they're just like you. They're slaves. They're no different than you. You think because they're dressed nice and they got a real estate license that means anything? No, they're just licensed slaves. Ooh, I got my real estate license. So what? You got student loan debt still? Then who cares what you got? Now you're just programmed to sell what? Subprime mortgages to other slaves. Now you're licensed to sell subprime mortgages to slaves. Perfect. That's exactly what they want you to do, slave. Because what is a person getting an FHA mortgage going to say as they're getting one? They're going to turn to the real estate agent and say, hey, do you got one too? The real estate agent's going to say, yes, I do. Which is going to encourage other slaves to get it. Well, if they got one, it must be good. Well, that's what you think, slave. You have all the costs and the bank has all the benefits. Sure do. They don't have to. Check this out. This is what the bank has over the landlord. Okay. If something breaks in their house, they don't have to fix shit. If the refrigerator goes out, they know you're not calling them. They're not responsible for that. They just make sure you have insurance on their property. That's it. If you lose your insurance, they're going to add it to your mortgage payment. They're always covered. If your washer and dryer goes out, or the AC unit goes out, the HVAC system, guess who's replacing it? You. They don't have to fix nothing. Those people across the desk were anxious for you to, just anxious because you know why? They're going to get their money. They're just anxious for you to sign so they can get their check. As soon as you sign it, they get their check. They show that they be looking anxious too. It's old pain. I think back at the desk and I remember that, and I just like, sign here, initial here, sign here, initial here, sign here, initial here. I was like, okay, here? Oh, okay. Where? Oh, okay. Where? Today? If I had to get a mortgage, you know what I say? All right, people, I'm going to take this paperwork to my lawyer, and then as soon as he goes through it, I'll come back to you. All right, cool. We need you to sign it now. I ain't signing shit now. What are you talking? You see this thick? You see this thick stack of paperwork? You expect me to sign this now? I haven't even read anything. Are you insane? Oh no, I'm not. I would say just like this. I have no idea what all that gobbledygook finance jargon, whatever, because the bank can make up anything they want in their paperwork because their money. I'm gonna take it to a lawyer, a debt-free lawyer, by the way, debt-free lawyer, and say, "Hey, check this out. Let me know," and then I'm gonna leave. Oh, you know this house is not. It's not going to be here. I don't care. Then if it's not there, by the time my lawyer's done looking at it, if the house is not there, I don't care. Yes, I remember signing mortgage papers too, 15 years ago. Yep. People use color of their skin to feel better about the bad decisions they make. I know. It's sad. Sad. Skin color means nothing in debt. Sure don't. One of my best friends is having issues at work. He may not be there much longer. He has over $80,000 in student loans and $100,000 in MTG. What's MTG? Oh, mortgage. Okay. He called asking if he should buy this 20. Do you see why you shouldn't have a regular job? Just get out of debt, create your own business. Slaves are giving away money. They have no idea what they're doing. You think when you hear slaves talk about, hey, how's 80% of the people gonna get a mortgage if they don't get how they gonna own a house if they don't get a mortgage? That statement right there should tell you, get out of debt and own a business, a successful business. You'll never have to work another day in your life ever. You think that banks are doing something evil to people? They're not. They're not doing anything. Anything. You can get it pre-approved for a mortgage and then shop for houses, but I see the point. Pre-approved for some debt. You shouldn't be trying to finance anything with the idea of how you're going to pay it off before the end date. Yeah, you shouldn't be financing anything. All right, we're about to wrap this up, man. It's 3 hours. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I appreciate you. Like I said, join the Discord server where we have conversations in there. If you have questions, you know, what you want to do, what you should do, so I'm in there sometimes and I answer questions too, but you'll get, if it's more questions pertaining outside of personal finances, other SMD family members can better direct you to the right resources, things of that nature. That was some good questions today. I ain't gonna lie, man. Good questions, especially what's the name's cousin? Man, that is just crazy. Seattle. I think it was Seattle. Yeah, Seattle. My cousin said this. Ooh, he said that out loud to you? Was there anybody around you when he said it? Was it because I guarantee you this, even though you might have a whole bunch of friends, I guarantee you probably one of them probably understands money, but they're just not sharing it with you guys. Because once you wake up, you're going to lose friends, because you're going to realize the majority of your friends are slaves. You're not going to have anything to talk about. It's going to really be difficult for you to be happy for them when you see them finance a house, or finance a house with a subprime mortgage, or finance a car and think they got a deal and all this other stuff. It's just, but we need slaves. We need you. If you think you're a homeowner, I'm full of shit, and that's just the only way. Thank you. Thank you. If you believe you have a 401k and an IRA in the stock market, and you're in debt, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. If you're listening to this on a finance cell phone, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Not only thank you for listening, thank you for being part of the system as a slave. Thank you. Because without you, the economy could not exist. That means I couldn't be here talking to you guys about anything. If slaves knew what I knew, the auto industry would collapse. Do you understand? The auto industry would collapse. So would the housing market. So would the credit card industry. So would student loan debt. All that stuff, student loan debt wouldn't exist. You think I want that? I don't want that. I don't want any of that. I want, if you want to stay in student loan debt for your entire life, thank you. If you finance cars every 3 years, thank you. Appreciate it. You know what? I don't realize my facial expressions. People always tell me about that. And I think that's why everybody want me to come on camera more. Oh, man. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful Saturday, okay? Until next time. Again, join the Discord server. Links in the description of this video. All right, until next time. Later.